4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network. All right, the Colts are leaning in here after a massive trade for Sauce Gardner at the trade deadline. Pearl, the Indianapolis Colts are not shying away from the new expectations. Welcome to the show. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. It's better off to do it this way, right? When you make a big blockbuster trade like this, and then, you talk to the powers that be on the team, you can't say, well, it's just another day. It's not another day. You got to be excited about what they did. And the question, I think, now, which is on everyone's mind, is are the Colts going to be able to make good on this? Are they actually a Super Bowl contender? Because I don't think you can make this move with your record at 7-2 and say, oh, we're just doing this because we're excited to, win a playoff game. You have to have way bigger goals in mind.
Yeah, but which is why I'm a little confused by how much they gave up for Sauce Gardner, because I know the quote-unquote AFC is down. They keep most weeks get their butt kicked by the NFC.
Yep.
But you look at this conference, you understand who they would have to beat to get to the Super Bowl. Not even win the Super Bowl, to get to the Super Bowl. They would probably have to beat Baltimore, Buffalo, and or Kansas City. And Sauce Gardner might be a top 5 cornerback. Why would that addition make you think he could be Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs? Like, where would that thinking come from? Because I have not seen anything in this Colts team that says, I know they're good, but that level of elite, you know how hard? Yes, you do. You're a Bills fan.
Yes.
Do you know how hard it is to
really
knock
hard
off Mahomes? The Colts don't look that close to the Super Bowl at all to me. Tell me, what am I missing here?
Okay, well, here's the thing, because obviously now that I've had a little time for this to sink in, I'm like, geez, the Colts they would match up great against the Bills. They kind of do everything that Buffalo has a tough time stopping. And you might be able to say that ditto for the Ravens. By the way, the Ravens first have to make the playoffs. They're still digging themselves out of a pretty ridiculous hole. And for Kansas City, who, if the playoffs started today, would not be in the playoffs. But I think what they're looking at is saying, all right, is this about Sauce Gardner? Doesn't have to be Darrelle Revis. He doesn't need an island because we've got, Charvarius Ward, who's going to be coming back from concussion at some point, we believe, right? He's on IR now. And you also have, Kenny Moore. Like, you have guys in that back end, and Cam Bynum. You have dudes who are recognizable and who are effective defensive players. And that also helps, when you have a great secondary, it helps your pass rush. It helps every part of your defense. So I don't think Sauce Gardner even has to come in and be the savior necessarily. It's just the trade compensation was so gigantic. He's obviously going to have tons of pressure on him. And by the way, Sauce is in concussion protocol. He got knocked out of that Jets-Bengals game, but because the Jets were on a bye week, he never could pass concussion protocol. So he didn't even talk to the media yesterday because you can't if you're in concussion protocol. Now they're about to go to Germany to play the Falcons, and they are all saying we are expecting him to play on Sunday.
So something scared me in the Pittsburgh game last week for the Colts.
Okay, what's up?
First of all, they were outdoors, so that's immediately a problem.
But it wasn't even a weather game.
But it's grass, and something's different. I mean, they just move fat. First of all, Jonathan Taylor's amazing, but in part because you have to really worry about their receivers in Indianapolis. But Jonathan Taylor ran 14 times for 45 yards against the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are bad against the run. The Steelers can be run all over. So there does seem to be games where Jonathan Taylor is not Superman. And if that happens, then all of a sudden Daniel Jones starts turning the ball over, and the defense looks more vulnerable too because Jonathan Taylor obviously keeps it away from the other team. So they are so reliant on him. And we know these big running backs. Saquon Barkley carried the Eagles through the NFC playoffs, but I'm not sure I can count on him. Think about a big game against Kansas City in the playoffs. Do you think that Andy Reid and crew and Steve Spagnuolo is going to let Jonathan Taylor go off on them? I don't know. I just think that's a lot to count on. He's great. There is no doubt. I think his MVP talk is well-deserved, but I don't know that I can trust that run game. Like, it has to be an A+ for all those other things to work.
Yeah, you're right about that, but let's also look at it this way. The Indianapolis Colts had 5 turnovers in the game against Pittsburgh. On the road, as you mentioned, outside. They still only lost by a score. Now, it didn't feel like it. It felt like Pittsburgh was in control. But
they were in it late. I'll give you that.
Yeah. I mean, and that's kind of as bad as it can get. Jonathan Stewart can't get anywhere. Daniel Jones is a liability, and they still were right in that game. You turn the ball over 5 times, you should lose 40-10. If you're playing against a really good team. Now, the Steelers, defense did look much, much better in that game. But, I mean, that was actually, maybe you could squint and see that as a positive for the Colts.
Wow. The Steelers ran the ball 23 times for 38 yards. They have their own problems. They're so conservative on offense. They kept the Colts in that game. But, yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. The Colts, however, are 7-2, but they've had a lot of really, really close wins.
Can I just also point something out? Okay, sorry. We can talk Super Bowl in a moment because I do think that you do something like this because you think you're a Super Bowl contender.
Right.
But the other 7-2 team in the AFC is the Denver Broncos, who we're going to see tonight. Yep. They're hosting the Las Vegas Raiders Thursday Night Football. Can I just give you the odds for the conference winner of the AFC?
Please.
Not the future get the Super Bowl, conference winner. So you got Buffalo plus 300 and the Chiefs at plus 320. Indy is next at plus 450, and the Broncos are after that at plus 700. They think there is a cliff between Indianapolis and Denver. And it's funny to me, now the Colts are being put, you're like, can they really beat Buffalo, and can they really beat Kansas City? Well, I mean, Vegas is kind of telling you that, yes, they are in that top 3 most dangerous teams in the AFC.
Well, first of all, I think Denver and Indianapolis, if they play in the playoffs, that will come down to the last minute, and that will be a Bo Nix situation.
Well, it has to be. I forgot also the Patriots are 7-2, but they're they're 10-1 to win the AFC.
Yeah, I mean the Patriots have this crazy easy schedule, and they could get a very high seed. I think all those teams are right there. The Colts are not going to win easily. I mean, they have so many close wins. For example, that Denver game, they should have lost in week 2. We've talked about that many times. They barely beat the Cardinals, who are kind of salty, so I get that. Then they blow out a team like the Titans. That proves nothing to me.
Yeah, they've gotten to play the Titans twice.
Yeah, and they played the Raiders. I just think that their schedule has been a little confusing. Honestly, my immediate reaction, my gut reaction when they made that all-in trade for Sauce Gardner, I'm like, I don't feel this team is all in.
I'm
having trouble getting my head around that.
I think I know why. It's the Daniel Jones factor. It's something like, and we're humans, and sometimes you have to see it to believe it. And Daniel Jones is not this new guy on the block, right? He's new for Indy, but he's been in our lives now since the 2019 draft. He's been around, and you've never, except for one playoff game in Minnesota, which he was really good in, but Minnesota was not what the record said they were that year. They were much more vulnerable. He's never been able to be consistent. And by the way, Jonathan Taylor, same thing. Awesome running back, but he's had health issues, and he's gotten banged up in seasons too. So I think that's what's holding me back. I'm like, is Daniel Jones really going to beat Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs? On what planet is that happening?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Yeah.
The answer would, I think, be no. It's really, they're 7-2, by the way. This is such a tricky game. And it's in Germany, or where is this?
It's in Germany.
Yeah, I know it's a Sunday morning
Guten Tag.
Game. Atlanta, you have no idea what team you're going to face on any given day, even on this continent. Who knows what's going to happen over there? And then you mentioned the tough schedule coming up. Bye, which is good. At Kansas City in week 12, that is a monster game because they have a chance to knock Kansas City out of the playoffs. And if I was the Colts, I would highly suggest doing that. But I can't see Daniel Jones winning outdoors at Kansas City. I'm telling you, their 2 losses are on the road, Maggie. That's the thing. Maybe they said, we got to get the number 1 seed to stay indoors throughout this playoffs. I just don't, it's a cliche. I don't trust dome teams outside in the cold in the playoffs. I don't trust the Dolphins either. I don't trust warm weather teams. I don't trust anybody except Kansas City and Buffalo and Baltimore as long as they're not playing either of those 2 teams.
Yeah, you don't even trust Lamar Jackson in the cold weather.
And the numbers are bad.
Yeah, I think the other part of it, I was thinking about the flip side of this, is that can Kansas City and Buffalo go inside and kind of match the speed of the Colts? And I think the answer
Josh
is
Allen
yes.
in a dome sounds terrifying.
I'd love to see it. I would.
Yeah, I can't remember a lot of indoor games for him because he plays in the AFC East.
And every single game, important game that's happened in the last 7 years in the AFC has happened in Kansas City.
Yeah, I was about to say, and also he plays Patrick Mahomes 7 times a year, so
it's
I can't
one-on-one.
When you think about what's your first thought about Josh Allen? Now picture him in a dome; it doesn't fit. We got to pull his numbers. He has really not played a lot of indoor games.
Here is Daniel Jones talking about Sauce Gardner, obviously the big blockbuster trade, and we're asking you today, Colts contender, pretender this season, because it's like, we see the talent on paper. Pearl, you love Shane Steichen. It just felt like we were 5 minutes ago. This team was actually doing a quarterback battle between Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones. like 5 minutes ago, this was a team that was cycling through quarterbacks in a way where it was like 2 for 1. Like, I'm like, are you guys getting this on sale? Where are these quarterbacks coming
Anthony
from?
who? What?
Yeah, I know. And
that
he's
feels
old
like
news.
a decade ago. Oh, my God, you're right. They did have Anthony Richardson, and he was in the QB battle. Now they're fully committed to Daniel Jones. I heard somebody bring up an interesting point. Why didn't they just trade Anthony Richardson in the Jets deal yesterday?
Oh, I wonder if the Jets were like, we're good. I mean, what are you going to do with Anthony Richardson?
Yeah.
And he's got like the issue with his eye now, right? Because he got hit
right.
that exercise
He's not
ban.
healthy. Yep.
All right. Daniel Jones on the Sauce Gardner trade says the front office believes the Colts can do big things this year.
Obviously, they believe in our team and what we can do this year. We've played well. There's still a lot in front of us, and we've got to go continue to improve and play well week to week. But as players, and you see that movement from ownership, from management and the coaches, I think, definitely gives you confidence.
Yeah, I mean, not exactly a Super Bowl guarantee there, but you're not going to really get that from a guy like DJ. Yes, Manny. You're getting flashbacks.
What a life. Imagine asking me 2 years ago, that Ahmad, Sauce Gardner, and Danny Dimes Jones would be on the same team. I would have told you to stop smoking crack.
Yeah. Well, here they are.
Oh, what a life.
Yeah, and probably in better shape than your team.
I can't believe,
By the way,
DVD of the crack, by the way.
Josh Allen's played 9 games in a dome, according to sportsreference.com. Can you guess in the straight dome?
Yeah,
he also has
Houston have been bad.
Yeah, can you guess his record in 9 games?
So Houston, I know he's in the playoffs 0-1. They blew a 14-point lead, I believe. Are you saying, is this regular season
I
and
think it's
postseason?
regular season. I was about to say,
regular
I'm
season?
sorry. I think this is how regular season
Okay, well,
split.
he's definitely not good in Houston.
Yeah.
That's a tough place for him to play for some reason.
Yeah.
Where else would he have played at a dome?
I don't, he only has 9 games in about a 6-year career, or even longer. He's 8-1. So it's not like
He won a game there, right?
Where?
Minnesota
is Dallas is not a dome, but I know on a Christmas was it Christmas or Thanksgiving where he played in Dallas, and that was kind of like the Josh Allen arrives game, and I think that the roof was closed.
Well, I cheated a little bit because he's 3-4 in a retractable roof. So you were probably thinking, I guess it's pretty much the same thing. But he's, listen, Josh Allen, that's the other thing, too. They, to me, feel like they will struggle if they go to a cold weather game because they're used to playing in a dome. But Mahomes and Josh Allen can play indoors. That doesn't scare me at all. Mahomes, obviously, has been fantastic indoors in the Super Bowl, so we know that's not going to scare him.
It's the run game for me because for Buffalo, I think it's the run game. I think for Indianapolis, it's the pass rush. Like you saw what the Bills were able to do to harass Patrick Mahomes in this last game. When the Chiefs didn't really have their run game going, the Bills were kind of able to tee off. Like Joey Bosa had a good game, and there were guys injured for Buffalo, and they still kind of made Mahomes a bit uncomfortable.
Oh, very uncomfortable.
So the Colts, I think, could probably replicate that if the Chiefs don't have a run game because the Colts have a good defensive line and now just got a lot better on the back end. And then on the flip side, so that would maybe be their advantage against Kansas City. And the advantage against Buffalo is Jonathan Stewart, I always want to call him that. Jonathan Taylor could run for 200 yards against them. I mean, that's possible if the Bills don't get healthier in the interior. Ed Oliver is out indefinitely. They've got some really big dudes who are missing right now.
Well, I mean, listen.
Maybe they'll be back.
It's Lou Anarumo, former Bengals defensive coordinator for the Colts, who obviously knows the formula for beating the Chiefs. I think that was part of this calculation,
Are we
too.
talking ourselves into the Colts? I think we are.
No,
except for Daniel Jones.
I'm not I'm they're 7-2, but this 7-2 is shaky to me, and it's going to it's so hard. They have the 6th hardest schedule going on. I'm fading the Colts.
888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Well, Indianapolis suddenly got a lot more interesting. How about Indy, center of the sports world? Remember when Caitlin Clark was like everything we talked about all the time? So she plays there.
Yeah.
Oh, well, does she?
She did play there.
The Pacers made the finals last year.
They're 1-7
I don't remember that.
I know.
Pat
Tyrese
McAfee show.
Halliburton made like 1 million game-winning plays.
Don't remember that either.
Yeah, you might want to erase that
Torn
from
Achilles.
your hard drive. And now look at the Colts.
Well, none of those things that you said have resulted in anything good. Caitlin Clark basically missed the entire season this year.
The team still made the playoffs and won a couple rounds.
Woohoo!
Wait, did you say Kurt Signetti, by the way, too?
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, we got
he's
the
not
number
in-
2.
Well, Indianapolis.
It's Indy adjacent.
No, but that is an Indiana Hoosiers. I got to imagine everyone in Indianapolis went to the University of Indiana. They could root for them. Right?
I think it's true. I think you're right.
Yeah.
It's
Maggie said
regional.
Indy, though. She said Indy's having a moment. I don't think you can include
Indy.
Cincinnati.
I think there are a lot of.
Indiana.
I think there are a lot of fans, so I think that'll. I mean, listen, there's never been a. You're right, and also I think Pat McAfee show is part of the reason why, because all those people you just mentioned all storm on the show. When has Indianapolis been a media hub?
I think this is Butler erasure.
Oh, well,
Well,
we're
what
not
has
here
But-
for that.
what has
Wait, say it
Butler done?
again.
Butler is Indianapolis' school.
That you're trying to erase Butler from.
this is Butler erasure. Gordon Hayward and Brad Stevens are rolling over in their grave.
Well, this actually, know what this is. This is we're bringing back is Penn State a Philadelphia school?
Oh, God.
Because
I don't want to do that
no
again.
wonder you're leading this charge.
If 70% of the people who went to college in your city went to one college because it's a state school, then it is a popular school.
Wait, can I bring up another thing? Remember that whole Mark Sanchez debacle? Also downtown Indy. Indy's having a moment, for better, for worse.
But to Maggie's point, again, not a good thing.
Yeah, none
Well,
of these things are good, man.
That's an all publicity good. Well, no.
No,
it's not.
no,
It's not
no.
really. It's not.
Caitlin
Listen,
Clark is still positive. I know she'll be
Caitlin's
back.
positive. The
Yeah.
Pacers, I didn't love that they booed Miles Turner's tribute
Oh, my
video
God.
the
Aren't
other
they
day.
like 1-6?
They're
Yeah,
like
but-
1-8 now,
Yeah,
man,
but-
and they still
Guys,
don't have
This is an
Tyrese
off
Halliburton.
year. They'll be back.
They're still in the glow.
Are
of
they?
playing in the finals?
This
and losing.
feels like Maggie. It feels like your slump buster argument where you're trying to make this spin this into a good thing. and
The slump buster has to officially be dead because the dumb Dodgers won back to back and the Florida Panthers won back to
No,
back.
it's a back-to-back year. When did we ever have back-to-back
That
champions?
should have been your take.
But
You
Rory, it
missed.
started with Rory McIlroy.
I hope it's a football back-to-back. Fly, Eagles, fly on the
Twice
way
he's-
to
twice he's made this about
victory.
Philadelphia.
I mean,
You see,
technically,
I told you guys back in February that this would be an awful thing for all of us, for society.
it has been bad.
Yeah.
Philadelphia winning anything is terrible for society, but except for that Revolutionary War, that was really good for us.
Yeah, that was good.
That was a
Yeah,
positive.
thanks for that.
But I got to be honest, if you're
while ago.
unless you're an NFC North fan or something or an AFC South, Indianapolis is likable. Who doesn't like Indianapolis? It's right in the middle of the country. They have great steakhouses.
Their
I thought there was
signature
only
dish
one.
is a shrimp cocktail. The nearest ocean is 3,000 miles away.
I love Indy. I don't know why.
I do
I've
too.
always loved that town. It's very friendly to visit.
It's a convention town.
It's a convention town, right? Because it's so close to Chicago, and I don't know. Peyton Manning had a place there. There's a lot
Had
going
a
on.
place.
Yeah, so did Marvin Harrison. Like,
No, all right,
Hey,
no,
but
I-
it had a
Harbaugh
place.
lives
Like
there. No,
they
I think he
basically
still
named
had
the
it.
stadium after him and a children's hospital, I think.
Right. Even after he left, my point was Peyton Manning still is
still
engaged
has
with the city. Marvin Harrison's Mr. Philadelphia. Unfortunately, we're trying to distance ourselves from that one. Kind of might have shot a guy.
Yeah, he basically runs North Philly.
You better throw some allegedlys in front of there because I don't want Marvin Harrison
That's
Sr.
true.
coming to bust down the door.
I have to Google that story. I don't know if there was an allegedly.
Something happened at a car wash. Now we're just doing this all off the top of the head.
You hear that, Jonathan Gandy? You better get his son the ball.
Yeah, seriously. And you know what? He's speaking out against Arizona. And Arizona, talking about teams that usually don't make a ton of headlines, Indianapolis Colts would be one of them. Now they're kind of center of the sports world. They get the standalone game, even though it's a 9:30 a.m. Eastern game, 6:30 Pacific in Germany. And how about Arizona? The Cardinals are crazy right now. We'll get to the latest with them. We also have some Cowboys news for you after they made a big trade for Quinnen Williams. What a day.
We should have a show when it gets cold outside where we only talk about dome teams. North Dakota State, by the way, apparently they have a hot quarterback too, who I have not paid attention to, but he's like getting all the draft buzz. So dome team Thursday when it gets cold out.
Catch the fever, everybody.
And Maggie, of course, wanted her Buffalo Bills. They're building a new stadium. You're still disappointed that's not a dome.
What a missed opportunity. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Lots to do, but you can weigh in. Are the Indianapolis Colts a contender, pretender? Is Indianapolis suddenly sports mecca? And we have a lot of drama going on with Arizona and with the Cowboys. Stick around. It's the Maggie Perloff Show.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
All right, welcome back, Maggie and Perloff. We started the show talking about the 7-2 Colts. Let's talk about a losing team who actually is pretty good, by the way. The Arizona Cardinals have looked really, really good until the last 5 minutes of every game this year. But now there is a lot of drama. And I got to be honest, it's hard to make sense of, Maggie, what they're doing at the quarterback position.
Yeah, this is a perfect kind of story for people like me who are skeptical, always got a raised eyebrow, think that there's things going on behind the scenes that somebody doesn't want to tell you about. And this Arizona Kyler Murray story has got all of that because Murray obviously is dealing with some kind of injury. and he was limited last week, although there was a thought maybe he was trending towards playing. He was questionable on Wednesday and Thursday. Before then, he was all of a sudden shows up in street clothes on Monday night against the Dallas Cowboys, right? And Jacoby Brissett is out there. And they're being really cagey about it. Now he goes from questionable 4 days ago to IR. And for people like me who are super skeptical, not only is this signal the end of the Kyler Murray era, but I don't think you need to be a genius for that. I wonder if there's a thing where there's injury guarantees in his contract, and the last thing they want is for him to go out, get hurt, and then all of a sudden now some injury guarantee kicks in, and they owe him even more money than they already owe him.
Yeah, I mean, that makes a lot of sense.
But I'm just being a skeptic.
Can I share a quote from Jonathan Gannon, the head coach,
Sure.
that might change your mind? Okay. Where he sits right now, talking about Kyler Murray, he has to pour into his health bucket and get ready and get healthy. So he's got to pour into his health bucket, Maggie. Have you thought about that? What kind of speak is that? That's not NFL speak. That's like new age kind of guru stuff.
For some reason, when he says pour into the health bucket, I see like someone just like taking a leak in the janitor's like mop bucket.
Yeah,
I don't know what that
possible.
means. I don't know what that means. Did Justin Bieber do that once?
No,
pour
but,
into the health bucket.
But let's not forget the reality here that Jacoby Brissett runs this offense maybe 5 times better than Kyler Murray does. He's on schedule. He is finding receivers. I mean, Jacoby Brissett is talented. He always has been talented. He's got a big arm. He can move. It just wasn't quite there to be elite level quarterback with Brissett, but he does things that Murray is not doing consistently, mainly running the offense.
So this has been my thought about Kyler Murray. First of all, let's try baseball. And Pete McCarthy's with us this morning, and he's a big baseball guy. And I know that Pete would love to see some Kyler Murray playing shortstop for the soon-to-be Las Vegas A's. But before we get to Pete, 2 things. One, Kyler Murray could end up being this like embarrassing story where he had to get it written in his contract that he had to study more and that he was playing video games too much. He's kind of the butt of the joke. But think about if he goes and plays baseball and then would all of a sudden become like this cool 2-sport.
Oh, yeah.
You know, he's not Bo Jackson, obviously, or Dion. But
if he was good, he'd be in that conversation.
But to be quarterback and then do that, this is
He's
like
a
Russell
top 10
Wilson,
pick in
Danny
baseball.
Cannell. But these guys we're not number 1 overall picks, right?
Well, I mean, yeah, but there's never been a guy who was top 10 in both sports. Kyler Murray was drafted way higher than anybody else.
Yeah, exactly. Like
But
this
Drew
is
Henson was pretty elite, I think.
like Chris Winkie, like these guys who played baseball and also played quarterback.
What's that guy?
Brandon Weeden.
Brandon Weeden, right.
You got a couple crossovers, but this would be a cool way
Yeah,
for Murray to like get back into like being relevant in sports.
Yeah, no concussions. That makes a lot of sense. Probably a ton of money. He could do those instead of angry toddler running down the field. He'd be running,
turning double plays.
Yeah,
man.
yeah. I love the way Kyler Murray runs. It's always the same. It's just like scamper. The guy scampers, but he looks like he'd be a pretty great baseball player. That's a great save. I don't think he'll do it though because he is good enough at NFL quarterback. It's hard to let go of being a quarterback. There's a lot of glory in that position.
Yeah, and obviously a lot of money, but I just can't see the team because I know the New York Jets, there was a lot of thought about, maybe that would be a landing spot. And I don't think the Jets fans want anything to do with Kyler Murray. This is all about these draft picks now and the 5 picks in the next 2 years. So I don't know if Kyler Murray is going to find a home very easily, but can I just do the flip side of this? And I maintain this. Arizona's a sleeping giant for a good quarterback to do a 1-off or 2-off type season in Arizona. Tom Brady found this in Tampa. I you see Sam Darnold, Daniel Jones, they're going to these teams, that maybe were kind of okay. And now look at their, maybe elevating these teams. Arizona has the tools. Like they're even injured on offense, and look at how good it looks with functional it looks with Jacoby Brissett. Their defense is really stout. They're in all of these games. If I know Matthew Stafford might retire at the end of the year. Who knows? He's got all these back issues. He had to get an epidural before the season. But someone like that who's trying to do this last ride thing with a team, I think Arizona is a perfect landing spot.
I mean, you need somebody with a big arm who'll throw downfield. Can I sell you Joe Flacco to Arizona? Let's go.
Yeah.
I mean, where do old people go to retire? Arizona. Joe Flacco, welcome aboard. Here's some red pants. He's perfect. No, I understand what you're saying.
Does Joe Flacco do NFC teams? I think he only does AFC teams.
He did the Eagles.
Did the whole division, the AFC North.
He's done most of the
I don't think
league.
he does the NFC. This would be a whole new thing for him.
Well, he's done the Eagles, yeah.
Oh, but he didn't really start games.
No. basically Joe Flacco is doing a tour of the entire NFL right now. I think he's got about 5 more years, 5 more teams. But who is? I love this exercise actually. Well, while we do the update, who's the next Sam Darnold? Who's the next Daniel Jones? Sort of a high draft pick who didn't work out, Baker Mayfield, but has a second life in him. I think the best
Maybe
way
it's
to do
Mac
it.
Jones.
I
don't know.
He sort of already has his second. I mean. He's already a Pro Bowl quarterback in San Francisco. He's already proven, but that might be a good one. Mac Jones in Arizona. Oh, that is not what you. Mac. I mean, does that answer your? Is that the next Matthew Stafford? That doesn't feel.
No,
like
it's
it.
not the next Matthew Stafford. But how about this? Who's from Arizona would be a nice little homecoming for a quarterback. But I don't know if they could do it.
Who's from there? Kyle Allen? I don't know who we're talking about.
Brock Purdy. Gilbert, Arizona.
Brock Purdy is in a
is
4-year, $50 million per year contract with San Francisco.
I know. But
And
I'm
by
just
the way,
saying.
I thought we were going to get like a Sam Darnold, Daniel Jones, 6'5" gutter who can run all over the place. Brock Purdy, if he leaves Kyle Shanahan to go to Arizona, that does not sound promising to me.
No, I'm thinking Shanahan's like, I can do this with Mac Jones. I can do this with someone else. And
Well,
they
I know,
try to sell him on a blockbuster trade.
Shanahan could do it.
Yeah, right.
Brock Purdy can't do it. That's
no,
what I'm saying.
Purdy's not going to ask for a trade. It's not a perfect fit. There is no Sam Darnold, Daniel Jones that I can see.
There's got to be a guy out there.
Aaron Rodgers?
Can I tell you Russell Wilson?
No, you can't.
No. It's got to be a guy. It's
2 years ago, maybe.
The formula's got to be a top 10 pick who's big arm, has all the physical skills, but did not work out in his first place. Kind of like.
Can I tell you Justin Fields has already failed with the Jets?
You cannot.
Damn it. Can't get rid of these New York Castles.
All right. While we think about that, and I maintain Arizona is a sleeping giant. It's a weird thing that's going on with the quarterback situation now. My prediction, we do not see Kyler Murray for the rest of the season. He's gone. I hope he goes and plays baseball.
I got one. Big arm. He was on a team that does not develop quarterbacks. He likes to date older women.
Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson.
Gotta be kidding me.
Why not? What if I told you 10 years ago Sam Darnold was going to be in the MVP race in Seattle?
He can't beat out Andrew
He's hurt.
Bogus for the second string of the Miami
Quinn
Dolphins.
Ewers.
He's hurt.
Just looks like Andrew Bogish. Good segue. Bogish out sick today, so Pete McCarthy stepping in on short notice. Pete, thanks so much. What do you think about Kyler? Pete's a huge baseball guy, by the way. Pete, you do it all. But what do you think about Kyler Murray going back to baseball?
You know, there was a somewhat recent NFL first-round pick quarterback who did try to transition to baseball. I didn't hear y'all mention him. One, Tim Tebow.
Oh.
Yeah. EJ's got it, the lefty. Didn't quite work out. Didn't make it out of AAA.
Wow.
This is the thing. Baseball, so Kyler Murray's now 28 years old. He hasn't really played in almost 10 years, right? He was drafted in 2018, so looking at 7 years now. If you don't hit for that long, there's not a lot of guys that have done it. So
What about MLB The Show? What if he's playing the video games?
I think
video games.
that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
It's worked out. A lot
Tim
of the
Tebow,
pitchers
the
say they
Binghamton
use
legend?
it for scouting, right? Jazz Chisholm is a big MLB The Show guy. So if that's a game Kyler's playing, maybe it'll work out for him. But if you don't hit, it's hard. I mean, Rick Ankiel is a guy who was a pitcher for a while and was able to transition to hitting, but not hitting for 5+ years and then trying to hit major league pitching, they usually
Who's
pretty tough to do.
You know, Pete,
Who's more popular in Buffalo, in Binghamton, by the way?
Yeah.
Tim Tebow or Maggie Gray?
Oh, Tebow's got me by a gajillion. I don't perform miracles. But here's the thing. I think that Call of Duty actually improves your hand-eye. I've heard that.
Yeah, what are you, a teenager trying to tell your parents I need more time
No,
on
I believe that. I wholeheartedly believe that.
Maggie trying to get a spot on X Clan, the Phase X or Phase Clan, whatever they call that.
Phase Clan,
Yeah,
yes.
Phase Clan. There you go.
Yeah, that's been my second career. When you guys see me pop up on Prize Picks and you're like, Maggie Gray, 20 maps and kills, you're going to be like, wow, man.
Yeah, we're going to be able to put that together with Bronny James.
Yeah.
710 KD.
You don't see a lot of 40-year-old women taking up video games, but
All right,
I think I'm going to buck that trend.
I mean, Kyler Murray is going to go to the FaZe Clan. That's what we. That's
think
what we
he's-
should
He's
have
on the team, I think.
I think he's on.
Is he on?
I
Him
think
and Juju are on the team. I know Juju
and
did a
Bronny.
year with that that crew.
Bronny, I think, is also part of the FaZe Clan.
May need to do that. Bronny may want to do that full time. He got dunked on by Wemby last night, and I'm like,
Yeah, why'd you jump?
pick up the controller, buddy.
Listen,
Get back
a
on the
lot
sticks,
of people
brother.
get dunked on by Wemby. But meanwhile, let's get to Pete
Get ready to
McCarthy,
learn Chinese, Bronny.
who's got the latest with us. What's up, Pete?
Yeah, Maggie, you mentioned Prize Picks. Download Prize Picks, use code PRIMETIME, and get a $50 bonus credit instantly when you play $5. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details. Did you guys hear J.J. McCarthy is rocking an alter ego these days. Things weren't looking that great for him recently. Had missed 6 games with a sprained ankle. Of course, he didn't look all that great in the game that he got hurt against the Falcons. Led the Vikings to only 6 points there. Carson Wentz had taken over at quarterback, but he mean-mugged his way to a redemptive story arc, winning over the Lions in Detroit this past week. And the usually smiley McCarthy shared that his alter ego, he calls it 9, his jersey number.
9 comes out, and I got to understand, like, okay, he can't be at his peak performance throughout 3.5 hours. So how do I find little ways, on the sideline, get back to my breath, get back to my visualization that could kind of maintain that intense, competitive stamina throughout the whole game.
And McCarthy shared the origin story of his alter ego 9.
It came about last year during IR, just never had a full season where, you want to be out there so freaking bad, but you can't. It was just this built up anger that was kind of ready to just explode. And I chose to harness it instead of letting it go into, a self-destructive kind of way.
Barf.
Are we feeling this? Are we feeling 9?
No. You know what this reminds me of?
Mr. Unlimited.
Get out of here, man.
So I actually, it's a little new agey. And it's a little whatever, but if it works for him, cool. But you know what it reminds me of, Pearl? Do you remember back in the day, we all had AIM screen names?
Oh, yeah.
AIM, of
AIM,
course.
whatever. We all had AOL names when chat first became popular. And, if you ask people, what was your screen name? It's usually something pretty embarrassing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
The Handler 3 over here.
What were you?
The Handler 3.
The Handler, right.
Awesome.
What was yours?
I think I had a normal one, but I remember also you had no idea that eventually people could read these and you would write whatever was on your mind in there.
I was like Gray Girl. You come up with something really silly, and it's almost, I think, when in 10 years or 5 years, when JJ McCarthy gets reminded that he had an alter ego that he called 9, it's going to be cringy, like when you remember your AIM screen name.
Probably.
I'm not going to share my AIM screen name, but I will share that my PSN, I made it when I was 12 years old when I was playing PlayStation. So Money Kid doesn't really apply when you're damn near 30 years
Money
old
Kid,
now. Yeah.
man, he's 420 XXX.
Yeah, 69.
About that money.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Some of the alter egos age okay, right? Like Kobe called himself Black Mamba.
Yeah.
That's true.
And it was kind of lame when he started doing it, but now people talk about it nicely, right?
Mamba
Deion
mentality.
Sanders with prime time. I mean, there are some that have some cachet.
Well, there's something in common between Kobe and Deion Sanders, Pete.
You're saying
Really
JJ
awesome.
McCarthy.
JJ McCarthy better really live up to a Kobe Deion Sanders level. But
And not
Pearl,
Russell Wilson, Mr. Unlimited.
at least
Yeah,
Russ is probably going to the Hall of Fame. But Pearl, you have a big issue about guys who give themselves nicknames.
Oh, you can't give yourself a nickname. Yeah, exactly. That's a good point.
Is that right, McLovin?
I don't like anyone who declares. We had a related debate. Somebody declared they were an all-timer or something the other day, and I was like, you can't declare. The doctor's saying they're a dynasty.
Yeah, Kike said they're a dynasty.
Yeah,
Perloff said
other people give you names and
Yes.
declare you things. Unless Deion Sanders, of course, is an exception because he's obviously better at doing that than anybody else. So he has to give himself a name. And you're right. Pete brought up a good point. Kobe worked, but generally, I am not a fan of that. JJ McCarthy, I feel like he's going to play 12 years in the NFL, and we're going to have no idea if he's any good. I don't know what it is with that dude. He defies all description. I mean, he won a national title and didn't even throw a pass. He is just such an odd person. I had no idea he had this personality, this alter ego. If you tell me what quarterback's going to give himself a new nickname, I wouldn't have guessed J.J. McCarthy in a million years.
You know what? It might track though. He likes to put like Latin phrases on social media.
But that's a Harbaugh effect, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
I actually didn't know that. He puts Latin phrases on social media.
Yeah.
So there's a lot going on
E
there. I didn't know
pluribus
this man was an onion.
You know the meditation that he would do like by the goalpost.
Yeah.
You saw this. He's like, is he barefoot? He's doing the meditation before these big games. Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, God.
But then he started doing it in the
lot.
locker room now because he said it was kind of distracting.
The only
All
thing
right,
about JJ giving himself a nickname is I feel like most quarterbacks who do it, it doesn't really work. Like Mr. Unlimited didn't work. I think of Kirk Chains. I think of guys. I think of guys who are kind of like okay, but not great. Like
Wait,
I think
Red Rifle though, that was fun. Andy Dalton didn't give himself that nickname.
Another guy like not good, not great. Like JJ McCarthy's a first round pick. The hope is he wins the Super Bowl eventually for the franchise he went to. It just strikes me that you're probably going to be maybe good but not great, which is what a lot of people think about J.J. McCarthy, to be honest.
Kirk Cousins didn't give himself that nickname, did he?
No, it's not even about giving yourself a nickname, but a quarterback even having like a nickname is just weird. There aren't too many who do.
Well,
they're
yeah,
usually kinda,
Mahomes.
like, ironic.
Remember how hard it was to come up with a Mahomes nickname? We did that a lot. We ever settle on one?
He's called like the one dad bod, fat dad.
No.
From Football Reference.
Fat
or like,
Trick is crazy.
Yeah, Fat Trick. Patrick Mahomes.
But there was
that's
just
a diabolical.
There was a long time where the national media was actively trying to find a nickname for this guy.
Mahomie. You don't remember that?
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomie?
I'm trying to forget it.
What is his nickname? If you go to Sports Reference.
Trick.
Fat Trick on Sports Reference.
That's where I found that. Fat Trick is crazy.
It's nuts.
Fat Trick is crazy.
Oh, Showtime. Right. Remember?
Showtime. That's Shohei Ohtani.
No, but remember Mahomes was trying to push Showtime? You guys don't remember? It was like 2022.
Definitely not.
That was a big deal.
Well, that bodes well for McCarthy then. If he plays well enough, we'll all forget about 9.
It's like Maple Mamba. Like, I don't
Does
think anybody remembers that for R.J. Barrett.
Does he spell it 9, or is it some kind of weird spelling, like if Cam Newton was trying to spell 9?
He's got a Y in there.
Wait.
Yeah, there it is.
The Z is silent.
My favorite Maple one was Mapletron. Remember, there was Chase Claypool was Mapletron, like Megatron, and then he had one good year in Pittsburgh. Or where was his good year? Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Notre Dame. I thought was he even in the NFL?
He had one good year in the NFL and got traded for a second-round pick.
Oh, I did remember that trade. That Bears trade off.
Maple Jordan.
That was Andrew
Wiggins.
Yes.
Air Canada was the good one for Vince Carter.
Yeah,
that made sense.
Mapletron is undefeated. That's pretty good.
Maple Mamba is also pretty good.
All right, Pete, look at what you started. We got down the road now. We absolutely love that story, but now we got to take a break. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you again next hour. Coming up next, we will get into the Dallas Cowboys because Quinnen Williams had some interesting things to say as he was introduced as the latest Cowboy. So what would be considered a successful season now for Dallas?
Listen, thank you.
3-5-1, but just added a major piece on the defensive line. 888-710-4ISN. It's the Maggie Perloff Show.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
That smile on your face makes it easy to trust you.
Welcome back, Maggie Perloff Show. Let's get to the Dallas Cowboys, Pearl, because obviously new Cowboy Quinnen Williams in the facility yesterday to meet everybody and talk about his new team. So, Manny, let's hear some Quinnen Williams. How about cut 10, please? Quinnen talking about his skill set and how it helps the Cowboys run defense.
Listen, thank you. I hang my hat on being disruptive, being dominant, and rushing the passer. And also this year, man, I've been taking a step forward and stopping the run, man. I know I've been reading a lot of stuff and seeing a lot of stuff on Dallas on stopping the run, man. So having the opportunity to come here and help those guys out of that and just help turn this thing around when it comes down to that point is going to be unbelievable for me.
Yeah, and take what you will from like PFF rankings, Pearl, and the analytics, or you can go eye test. Quinnen Williams is a really good run stopper. You know, you're not going to see sack totals that are going to be huge, but his impact is clearly on the interior. Here's more from Williams acknowledging that Micah Parsons, obviously fantastic defensive player for Dallas, and he thinks he can have a similar type of impact the way Parsons helped the defense.
Michael Parsons is a phenomenal player. Like he can do things where I can't dream about doing, especially when it come down to rushing the passer, man. But we're totally different players, man. In that aspect, man, I'm more interior presence, interior push, physical, strong, and a good interior pass rusher. And I'm just here to do my job the best of my ability and be a difference maker from the interior standpoint.
Yeah,
Michael Parsons.
Yeah.
But Maggie,
Yes.
I want to challenge one thing you said.
Sure.
He had 12 sacks in 2022.
Yeah, that was that was kind of a standout, was it not?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, but
anomaly, if you will. But that also was a really good defense.
Yeah.
So much to the point where Aaron Rodgers was like, "Ooh, I can win there."
Right,
With
but my
Jets,
point is,
yeah,
his value is partly like, I think if you're going to talk about the top defensive tackles, they do get to the quarterback. I'm thinking obviously Jalen Carter, Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
So he has that ability. So my question, when you look at those numbers, has there been a decline?
Well, it's hard to tell, I think, with the Jets because they've taken such a colossal step back with the defense. And I think, EJ, you're the Jets fan here. I mean, how do you explain Quinnen Williams and his production going down? But here's the thing. I just want to make clear. The PFF and the nerd numbers don't see a decline. He's still top quartile. What do we say? Like top in the 90th percentile of awesome run stoppers. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, run stopping, the PFF, I think he's number 1.
Yeah, literally.
And in pass grade, I think he's kind of average, which is what I feel like I've seen. Now, it's always tricky because he had that big sack year, and it feels like you see offensive lines try to take away his pass rush a lot more. And the Jets, even though they've had renowned pass rushers, they haven't really been able to get after the passer. So it's kind of that question of, is it him? Like, is he not making enough plays, or is it just because the teams are taking him away and they're just having to make other people pay? They don't make them adjust. He's going to a team. He mentioned yesterday that he feels like the Cowboys have a defensive line that he's excited to play for. He called them loaded. So I don't know if like Fowler and these other guys are going to be able to free him up a little more, but I would have the same concerns. Like I don't look at the Cowboys defensive line and say, oh, you know what, they're not going to be able to double team Quentin Williams. I think that's going to be plan A, B, and C if you're playing the Cowboys. Maybe that opens things up for other guys, but I don't know if you're getting 10 sack or 11 sack Quentin Williams like you had a couple years ago.
No, but obviously the Cowboys defensive line has to get a little healthier too.
That's true, too.
And that's why I don't think this trade was about this season. I think it's actually setting up for next year. But the other thing about Williams is, the defense, like, I remember when I worked with Bart Scott, he used to always say, the best thing you can do for your defense is have a competent offense. It's like if you're down 2 scores, a score, teams don't have to throw the ball. Like you're not getting all these great opportunities to rack up all these sack numbers.
So you're talking about the Jets situation, not the Cowboys.
No, the Cowboys are awesome.
So that could help Quentin Williams. Now the problem with the Cowboys is their defensive line actually has been okay. They've generated pressure. It's once you get to the next level of the defense, it's been a free-for-all. So that's the other problem, too. And tackling has been a problem at the next level.
Okay, Pearl, can I ask
you a
question?
So he has a lot of work to do. That's all I'm saying for Quentin.
Yeah, and I think this season is, I don't say it's a wrap, it's a wash.
Yeah, but
then
why are you doing a trade deadline deal if this season is out of touch?
Because the Jets hung the for sale sign out. And if you want Quentin Williams, who's only going to be, 28 in December, he's still in his prime. Sometimes you got to make the move even when it's not the ideal circumstance. Maybe, and you make it at the trade deadline. It doesn't necessarily mean it has to be for this playoff push. But I ask you, Pearl, what now would be considered a successful season this year? Because I've got my idea.
For the Jets or the Cowboys?
For the Cowboys.
I mean,
Jets are
successful season would be making the playoffs, even though they're 3-5-1. Anything short of that is either neutral or bad. What would you consider a successful season?
I just think at this point, you have to see that defense just get a lot better. And this is, to me, all setting up for next year.
I don't understand. First of all, by the way, you know that they're going to, if Quentin Williams looks good, they're going to have to pay him. That's why his value is not a first-round pick and a second-round pick, because he's only got, 2 years left on his deal at a reasonable cost. So I don't think the rest of the league is trading that much for an asset that you have to pay. That's the one thing teams don't want. I don't. We're talking about the Cowboys with Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb and now Quentin Williams and Trayvon Diggs and all these stars, and you just want to see improvement? That's sad.
Well, 3-5-1. I mean, I'm just trying to be a little bit realistic here. Like, I just don't think that you got this. I don't think you traded for Quentin Williams with the idea of look out, Philadelphia. We're coming for you. I don't think that's what this is. I think it was, let's make sure that we don't waste another 2 years of Dak Prescott, like we're clearly wasting this year of Dak Prescott. And listen, is there like a bit of a chasing after the Micah Parsons trade and trying to make up for it? Totally. But I don't know, is that such a bad thing? Like, you made him, my opinion, they made a mistake with trading away Parsons.
Yeah.
And now you're trying to chase it. And at least they're trying to do something and be proactive. Isn't that what you always want your GM to do?
No, I don't want them to go this way about it. I want them to draft, like Howie Roseman drafted Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter for the defensive line, because you get 4 to 5 years of cost certainty for a good player. I want to build that position through the draft. To be honest, I want to put my money elsewhere.
Okay,
it's a financial thing. That's why, and I'm not alone on this. People were like, well, I don't know about this Quentin Williams deal because you just added another peak expensive player who's going to be on the decline soon.
Well, you say soon. I think these interior defensive tackles, I think, actually can play into their mid-30s. So I think you're getting a lot. And the other part of this is, the Eagles drafted Jalen Carter. They took advantage of a guy whose draft stock was plummeting and got a bad character dude to come in, and he's played great. Like, not everyone can bank on that. The Cowboys are getting a sure thing in Quentin Williams. That's what I think. Okay, so much more to do. Don't move.
The lights went dim down at the station. We packed our dreams and hit the door. DA said, well, it's been something, but we won't be doing this no more. And somewhere out there, Pete's still sleeping. He missed the memo like before. Pete ain't coming in no more. No boots by the board, no keys on the floor. He's free as a tumbleweed blowing through town. A legend of leaving when things go down. Yeah, Pete ain't coming in no more. We laughed through nights, we fought through mornings, chasing deadlines, spilling Joe. Infinity's gone, but we'll remember all the chaos from that show. But Belotti's grin says it all now. He's finally got no place to go. Pete ain't coming in no more. No fake traffic jam or stuck at the store. He's sleeping till noon with nothing to prove, 'cause the station's gone and Pete don't move. Yeah, Pete ain't coming in no more. So here's to the crew and all that we did, from DA to the board op kid. We gave it our hearts, our time, our souls. Pete gave, well, he gave us no shows. Pete ain't coming in no more. No alarms, no rush, no open door. Infinity's gone, the dreams run dry, but we'll raise one up before we say goodbye. Yeah, Pete ain't coming in no more.
Well, that's that, folks. Infinity's riding off into the sunset. And Pete, he finally beat us all to retirement by about 3 years.
One minute remaining. Five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Colts and Dallas Cowboys taking a lot of oxygen at the trade deadline, Pro. But how about the Seattle Seahawks, who also made a big addition? Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff, adding to that wide receiver room. And Shaheed, fantastic, to pair with Jackson Smith and Jigba, Pearl. And, it's funny because we talk about the Colts, and the one thing that holds me back from thinking the Colts are a true Super Bowl contender is Daniel Jones. And I feel like I'm having a similar thought about Seattle and Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold has shown that he can be phenomenal in the regular season when he's got the right weapons and offensive line and coach. And when these things are right, Sam Darnold looks like the number 3 overall pick in the draft when he was coming out of USC. But then the end of the season happens, or the playoffs happen, and all of a sudden Sam Darnold is throwing passes into the ground, into the first row, and can't hit the ocean from the beach. And that's the one part of me that I can't get myself there with Seattle, because I love the team, I love the defense, and now they have weapons, even more weapons, but I can't envision Sam Darnold hoisting a Lombardi trophy.
Yeah, I don't view him as the same way as Daniel Jones, because we've already seen more success from Sam Darnold. Daniel Jones is in game 9 of this experiment in Indy, and it's going to go well, in part because they're indoors. But Sam Darnold against Washington last week on primetime TV.
He looked great.
He looked great. It wasn't just, the dude he's not old. He's 28. He's got wheels. It reminded me of Sam Darnold at USC. Guy can run. It was his processing. They actually had a close up on his face. You could see him, and the announcers were talking about this. He could get read 1, read 2, read 3. He is now processing at I'm going to say the word elite level. If you pressure Sam Darnold, that's the question. You are saying he was terrible in those last 2 games against Detroit. The pressure was on.
And then the Rams, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. It was the second. Right. Yeah. They lost to Detroit at week 18, then the Rams. But that Vikings offensive line has been a problem. So if the Seahawks can protect, then they're dangerous. It does seem like the marriage of coach and quarterback, and now with Rashid Shaheed, who was also a Clint Kubiak guy, the offensive coordinator, that just seems like, wow, this is a lot going on here. Feels, I will dare say, San Francisco-ish, like McCaffrey, Debo, like a lot of weapons coming at you. Jackson Smith and Jigba, and I love the running backs, love Kenneth Walker, love Zach Charbonnet. I just like everything going on here. Maybe it's the vintage uniforms. There's another thing. There's just a quality about this team. They're likable. It's like, oh, cool. The Seahawks are good again. This feels good for the NFL. Maybe I'm going vintage with this, but there's just an energy there that is really fun.
Well, I guess maybe this is what it comes down to. I still think the Rams are the class of the NFC West, right? I think
the Rams are good. That's a problem.
Right. That's a problem. But San Francisco does seem gettable. And it's because they have so many injuries along the defense, and obviously the quarterback situation. Although I did see Brock Purdy is increasing his workload in practice this week, I think I saw.
Wait. And you said the quarterback situation was getting... So you're saying they're going to take a step back because Brock's coming back?
No, I'm just saying it's been... I don't know if it matters, but both guys are hurt. Mac Jones is playing not at 100%, and he's still out there because Purdy's more hurt. And I just wonder with San Francisco, he's been fine. It's just that
fine. He hit 16 passes in a row the other day. He's been outstanding.
Yeah, and who are they playing? Like this is the thing. The San Francisco schedule has been so easy; it has kept them in this thing. And to me, it's not about whether Mac Jones or Brock Purdy, like who's better than the other. Although I still think Brock is actually a little bit better than Mac Jones. It's about, are either of these guys going to be healthy enough to actually make it through the finish line? I feel like San Francisco, when the injuries hit, they just hit huge, and both guys are already kind of playing banged up. But anyway, this creates a really nice lane here for Seattle, and because I think San Francisco, is not what their record says, and I think against the better competition, it's going to be really hard for them.
But I don't think that's their competition. I think their competition is the Rams, the Eagles, the Packers, the Lions. Like they're not thinking
Seattle,
about the division. Yeah, they're thinking about the conference. Don't you think that's the discussion they see themselves in?
So if you want to go to Vegas, let's hit up the old DraftKings. The conference winner, Rams lead it right now, Pearl, plus 400. Then your Philadelphia Eagles at plus 425. Lions right behind them, plus 475. Packers plus 500. Then the Seahawks at plus 550. Then a bit of a cliff or the Tampa Bay Bucks now plus 850. So obviously Vegas does see Seattle as in that group, in that elite NFC group, but the fifth of those, like the lower of the upper tier.
Absolutely. I totally get that. But
does that scream contender to you?
Yeah. I mean, those odds are pretty tight. I guess it depends where they play. No, am I going to pick them to win the division? I mean, the conference, no. But do I think right now they can play with anybody? Listen, Mike McDonald, I mean, he's got that defense looking really, really salty, and he wants to run Raven style or Michigan style and win with defense. If you get that, really helps Sam Darnold. That's why I think Sam Darnold's not going to turn into a pumpkin as much this time. I think that the way they play will protect him. That might not be a pro Sam Darnold take. I just think Seattle has a lot of things figured out right now.
888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. I know we're on in Seattle. I'm curious how much the Seattle fan base is really buying in. Like, is there any part of you that has a little bit in the back of your head like, oh, no, we're at some point going to rely on Sam Darnold to have to win us a really big game? Can he do that?
I think if I'm in Seattle right now, I think I'm all in on this team because they don't know the bad. There hasn't been that much bad Sam Darnold like this evidence. How many times he's either been terrible with the Jets and nothing with the Panthers, back up in San Francisco, and he had one letdown late in the season. When has Sam Darnold failed in the playoffs? He's never been to the playoffs except once.
No, I get it, but you might feel a little bit like, all right, you kind of just did this with Geno Smith. And obviously Geno was a revelation because you're moving on from Russell Wilson, and you were just like, we've seen this before with certain franchises. You move on from the guy at quarterback, and sometimes it takes 10 years to find the next guy. Sometimes it takes 20. Look at the Miami Dolphins. They're still trying to find the next Dan Marino. It can take a really long time. And I think it was like Geno stepped in and was able to take the torch so seamlessly, yet there's a ceiling.
Yeah,
and there was always going to be a ceiling with Geno. So you could make the playoffs, but then you can't beat San Francisco in the playoffs. You can make the playoffs or you can have a 10-win season, but you're not actually a contender. I wonder if it feels kind of similar with Seattle right now. It's like, all right, there's no drop-off. You're probably happy now that you don't have Geno anymore because it's not going well in Las Vegas for him. You have Darnold, but do you always feel like there's this ceiling that you're never going to be able to break through?
I have a feeling that you got to talk about coaching in this, though, because the ceiling might have been late career Pete Carroll, where Mike McDonald, there's a chance. Nobody talks about him. He's so generic looking, the Seahawks coach. I think he might be an elite coach. I think that might be the difference. And obviously, Clint Kubiak has been awesome there. And Clint Kubiak, you look back at what he did in New Orleans, and now you see where New Orleans is now. Like, whoa, we might have missed with that guy. It does feel like there could be a team thing going on here that's supporting Darnold. I mean, maybe that's a criticism of Darnold, but it does feel like Darnold's going to get a lot of help in Seattle right now. There's a lot of talented players throughout that roster.
You're basically describing last year's Minnesota Vikings, and they decided to move on from him. Now
But the Vikings had injuries on the O-line. Like, the Vikings fell apart around Darnold.
Yeah.
I said that many times. It was not just Darnold.
And I've seen that happen in Seattle pretty recently.
But it might not. It might not.
That's fine. But I feel like you're describing exactly what we said about Minnesota. Like, he's got the weapons. He got this, that.
No, but
yeah,
Mike McDonald's a defensive coach.
Well, they have Brian Flores in Minnesota. He's a very high-regarded defensive coordinator.
Yeah, but there is this. McDonald comes from the John and Jim Harbaugh clan that was having a moment when, Michigan won the title with this formula. Baltimore is always dangerous. I don't know. I find them very different than the Geno. It's a good comparison to Geno Smith getting hot in Seattle. This team feels like a different team. I'm not saying Sam Darnold is the next Patrick Mahomes, but it just feels like everything is clicking there. I think that they could be a dangerous out in the playoffs, but there's so many elite teams right now. I mean, they're going to have to battle with Philly. The Rams are awesome. The Packers, I think, are still good. The Lions, there's going to be, that's the thing. They did a move. I'm glad they didn't go all in and give up a bunch of first rounders because I'm not sure they're there yet. I guess they could have, but this is a fun team. And the vintage uniforms, come on, Meg. You got to root for them with me.
Yeah, I mean, it looked good against the Commanders, but the Commanders, their defense is terrible, and, Jaden Daniels ends up getting hurt at the end of the game. Yeah. That was a weird game.
Remember that Bucs game that they lost? That was a great game.
That was an insane game. They still have to play the Rams twice, still have to play San Francisco at San Francisco. Yeah. Got to play Minnesota, got to play the Colts.
Well, you never know that's a good point. That's a lot of good teams on there, so maybe it does come down a little bit. But you never know what Rams team is going to come out on a Sunday. You have no idea.
Let's go to Ramon. He's in Indianapolis. Razor Ramon, what's up, sir?
Hey, how you doing? My favorite morning show, and thank you for my call. Those trepidations about Daniel Jones, we're having them too. That last game was, hopefully it was an anomaly, but, once you get towards the playoffs, you play better teams, better defenses, and Pittsburgh seemed to have something there. Sam Darnold. Somebody's got to be the Trent Dilfer and the Brad Johnsons of this era. So maybe he'll be one of those.
I know, but these guys were high picks.
Yeah, go
By the
to
way,
Dallas.
Brad Johnson, in his wildest dreams, never had a season like Sam Darnold is having right now, Ramon.
Yeah, but he's holding the ring in his finger. And now we got ring culture and stuff like that. That
is true.
Seems to be all that judge. Dan Marino was one of my favorites. He beat my Chicago team. I'm a Chicago guy from the Chicago area. He beat the Bears with that quick release, and we don't even talk about Dan Marino. And some reports from some former players say Dan Marino was better than John Elway. So, I'll just leave that there. But Dallas hasn't been to the Super Bowl or NFC Championship game more than Arizona since 1995. Remember, Arizona went to the Super Bowl with Kurt Warner.
Yep.
And they went to the NFC Championship game with Carson Palmer.
Yep.
There's a joke. This is not going anywhere. It's the culture there. They are not like the Dodgers. The Dodgers went through and reorganized, got things together the last 10, 12, 15 years. The Dodgers have been a consistent franchise. They go out and do what they have to do. There's no way in the world. People can criticize Michael Parsons all you want to. Talent, you do not let go of talent. It's hard to get talent. Somebody was on Sports Radio yesterday and said, if you're going to give me a proven talent at 26, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, you give me a proven talent, proven all-pro over draft picks. I'm taking the proven all-pro all day long. Now,
Ramon, I'm so with you. I'm so with you. I love it because, and Ramon, thank you for the call. Great to talk with you. I think this is almost a little bit like Pearl. Remember, you and I had a very memorable interview once with Bruce Pearl, right, before he retired.
Yes.
And we were talking about the transfer portal. This is an Auburn basketball coach, obviously. And he goes, why would I get guys out of high school? Yep. When I can now, with the transfer portal, get someone, and this is Bruce Pearl's quote, who's got some hair on his ass and already has gained the 10 pounds of muscle, and then I can just poach him from someone else's roster. And I kind of feel a little bit like that with some of the moves that were made at the trade deadline. You have these draft picks, but who knows, right? I think the Cowboys, and this is why I gave the trade an A and you gave it an F, but you have someone who's already panned out, who still is in their prime, in my opinion. And you don't have to worry about whether this person is going to be a bust, because look at the guy they traded back to the Jets and Mazzie Smith. He was a first-round pick out of Michigan. I don't know if he was on the championship team. He might have been the year before that. But anyway, pedigree, all the skill set in the world, couldn't do it.
He was 27th pick, but yeah.
Okay, but still first-round pick.
But the odds fall dramatically in the latter part of the first round. But I know what you're saying.
Okay, so I'd rather, if I'm in a win now mode, and even if it's not for this year for the Cowboys, let's say next year, the year after, I kind of want someone who I know can handle being a pro, can handle double teams, has gone through a little bit without having major injuries and stuff.
Yeah, I just think I look at it more from a salary cap standpoint. There's young and cheap, and there's old and expensive. And the good teams, why do the Eagles always have cap space? Because they seem to find a balance between that. Now it feels like the Cowboys are old and expensive, and they don't have the W's to show for it.
888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. We're asking a couple questions today. One on the Dallas side. What would you consider a successful season for them this year after the big Quinnen Williams trade? Also, are you believing in Seattle and Indy as both Super Bowl contenders with the now rejuvenated quarterbacks, I guess? Sam Darnold, Daniel Jones. Okay, coming up, last night was weird. Victor Wembanyama. Interesting game. We'll get into the loss. Wemby's loss to the Lakers, and the Lakers' defense and what they did to Wemby to make him probably the most uncomfortable I've seen him this season, which is, we're still early on. And we've got some more baseball for you as well. But in the meantime.
Okay. Last night, Maggie, I went deep on Prize Picks. I wasn't just looking at analytics or stats. I was thinking about something I like to call vengeance. Julius Randle, the Minnesota Timberwolves, against his former team, the Knicks. I'm like, he is going to have a lot of points tonight, and I was right. And I picked more on Julius Randle's stat projection, and that's how you win big on Prize Picks. All you do is you just pick 2 or more players across any sport, pick more or less on their projections, and if you're right, you could win big. And right now, you get $50 bonus credit instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. I was so happy, even though the T-Wolves lost big. Didn't matter to me.
No, you got your big W. How about looking at tonight? Can I give you a little Cortland Sutton, okay? More than 58.5 receiving yards.
He better get that because you can see how miserable he is with not getting enough targets. But go ahead.
I feel like he's got it in the bag against the Raiders. And then, do you know there's college football tonight? Did you know that
there's always college football.
USF is playing UTSA? I'm all over it.
Well, those are the hot mid-majors. Those teams are always spicy.
Byron Brown, running back, USF, 75.5 rush yards. Let's go more than, and let's make it a night all about football. And we're all about Prize Picks here. It's our obsession on the show, and it can be for you as well. So simple. Just download the Prize Picks app today. Use the code MNP. Get $50 bonus credit instantly in lineups when you play $5. That's code MNP on Prize Picks. Get $50 bonus credit instantly in lineups when you play $5. So win or lose, you get $50 bonus credit in lineups just for playing. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks, it is good to be right. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
Mand P.
You're in a 4-minute break.
The lights went dim down at the station. We packed our dreams and hit the door. DA said, well, it's been something, but we won't be doing this no more. And somewhere out there, Pete's still sleeping. He missed the memo like before. Pete ain't coming in no more. No boots by the board, no keys on the floor. He's free as a tumbleweed blowing through town. A legend of leaving when things go down. Yeah. We laughed through nights, we fought through mornings, chasing deadlines, spilling Joe. Infinity's gone, but we'll remember all the chaos from that show. But Belotti's grin says it all now. He's finally got no place to go. Pete ain't coming in no more. No fake traffic jam or stuck at the store. He's sleeping till noon with nothing to prove, 'cause the station's gone and Pete don't move. Yeah, Pete ain't coming in no more. So here's to the crew and all that we did, from DA to the board op kid. We gave it our hearts, our time, our souls. Pete gave, well, he gave us no shows. Pete ain't coming in no more.
Welcome back, Maggie.
No alarms,
You know,
no
6 months ago, we never would have predicted
no.
that some of the topics on today's show would be, should the Colts be all in on the Super Bowl, and are the Seattle Super Seahawks the favorite in the NFC? I don't think you or I had that and our possible topics for Week 10 of the NFL. But here we are, Maggie, and I actually love it. This is great, especially Seattle, because it's been a long time. Actually, the Colts, too. These are teams that 15 years ago were totally elite, and I think it's great for the NFL to see possibly them go on runs.
Yeah, the question is, who do you take more seriously as a Super Bowl contender? Is it Indy? Is it Seattle? Maybe it's both. Here's Brad in Oregon. Brad, good morning, sir.
Hey, good morning, guys. Thanks for taking my call. First of all, I just Sauce Gardner getting out of New York and away from this Woody Woodpecker team, and just got to be early Christmas for him, going from the outhouse to the penthouse. Whether the Colts never win another game the rest of the season or not, he's just got to feel relieved. And for Woody to turn around and say, oh, no, we haven't given up on the season.
Brad, we lost you there, pal. I'm sorry. You might have been going through a tough area. You're right about Sauce. So not only does Sauce go from the 1-7 team to a 7-2 team, his best friend is Alec Pierce. They were college teammates at Cincinnati. So I guess he's got there's a personal connection now, too.
I got the sense that Alec Pierce said that he was so good in practice, like he convinced the coaching staff to go that way.
It's like, take whatever picks you have.
Yeah, I think he did.
Like the Jets.
I think he did.
John's in Vancouver. John, are the Seattle Seahawks a true Super Bowl contender, yes or no?
I think they are, Maggie. Like I know you were, talking about Sam Darnold turning into a pumpkin like last year, but I think one big difference is Seattle had a running game, or has a better running game than Minnesota did, so that's something that could help them. And as far as the bookies in Vegas, having the so-called Elite Five in the NFC, to me, Seattle should be leapfrogging Green Bay. In fact, I'd have Green Bay in that second tier that Andrew said with Tampa Bay. Like, I think it's Los Angeles, Philly, Detroit, and Seattle. Green Bay has, to me, fallen quite a bit off the cliff. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, John, it's a fair point. I mean, obviously, the last time we saw Green Bay, they were losing at home to the Carolina Panthers, and Tucker Kraft is getting carted off the field.
He's in a better place.
He's in a better place now, according to his teammate Romeo Dobbs. Like, he's not dead. People come back from ACL tears all the time, but they also did not do anything at the trade deadline. I was a little surprised. I know it would have been tough maybe for Green Bay to get organized at that point and get in the tight end market, but you did have an opportunity right in front of you, and they sat on their hands.
Well, there was a rumor they would go after Michael Mayer, who's the extra tight end in Las Vegas. I think I'm on an island right now with Green Bay, because I think that defense is going to be a factor later in the season. Listen, Micah Parsons is still great. I know he didn't do anything against Carolina, but Carolina wisely did not throw the ball. It turns out they have the best running back in the league, Enrico Dowdle. That loss, I understand. I think this is on LaFleur. I think he's got to, believe it or not, even with Jordan Love being inconsistent, open up that offense a little bit, because you saw when the game was close at the end, they said, Jordan Love, you know what, you got to throw the ball, and it worked. So I don't quite understand, Tucker Kraft or no Tucker Kraft, I do think there are the bones of a really good team here. Because we've seen this even last year. Remember, the year started out, they lose to the Eagles of Brazil. Jordan Love gets hurt, and they look like they're out of the picture. Then they turned it around late in the season, and even in the playoffs, they were really tough against the Eagles. That defense can step up. I mean, come on, they have so many players. Look at all those guys on defense. You're telling me that team doesn't scare you at all? With Quay Walker, Micah Parsons, Lucas Van Ness, like they have Rashawn Gary. They have good back end players. They should be good.
888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Should Green Bay be considered a Super Bowl contender is now a conversation we're having. Let's get to Pete McCarthy, who's got headlines for us this morning. What's up, Pete?
All right, well, this report is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. The annual Progressive Keys to Progress program provides vehicles to deserving veterans, helping our heroes drive their lives forward. Learn more at keystoprogress.com. You mentioned Rico Dowdle quickly there. To me, that was the funniest thing that happened this past weekend. His 2-pump celebration. Thought he got 3 because of a Key and Peele sketch. Well, Dowdle has now been fined nearly $15,000 for that celebration as well. I mean, personally, I think Keegan-Michael Key should be paying that.
Yeah, cover the fine. That's only the right thing to do.
Well, yeah, I mean, he got that big buyout from Penn State, right?
Yeah, he did.
Because he's a doppelganger. Right. He looks exactly like James Franklin. You guys ever see the video where he comes out and lectures the team?
Well, he went to Penn State.
And he went to Penn State.
Yeah. He posted a video of him like saying, "Hey, Rico, like you got robbed, man. Like it's supposed to be 2 pumps. I'm sorry, man. Now I got to go write a new sketch or something along those lines."
Yeah, well, maybe Keegan-Michael Key could have beaten Penn State. Ohio State.
I would say 75% of my algorithm is Key and Peele sketches coming into Instagram.
It's a great algorithm.
It's unbelievable because I thought I saw them all, and then there's one I'm like, oh, I haven't seen this one, and it's beyond brilliant. It's underrated, believe it or not.
Oh, it's so good, and it's amazing to me that it's just the 2 guys, and how many characters they got out of 2 dudes.
Yeah. Well, that's the funny thing because Jordan Peele has now become a famous director. He's such a good actor too. Like I'm almost ashamed. But the 2 of them, I think, have gone in different directions. I want them to get back together. What if they did another year?
There'd be too much pressure.
Yeah, the bar is high. Yeah. The bar is high.
The sketches, too, they hold up. I mean, they're all like
exactly.
10 years old, aren't they?
Yeah.
And we have an NFL player who probably grew up with this sketch, and it's still hilarious when he's doing it in an NFL game.
Honestly, LeCarpetron Duke Marriott will forever be in my lexicon.
Have you guys heard the story of how they came up with that sketch? Keegan-Michael Key told on Dan Patrick's show that he came in, and Jordan's not a football fan. He came in and said, I was watching the Jets game, and there's a man named DeBrickashaw.
Yeah.
And Keegan-Michael Key says, oh, my darling, you have no idea. And then showed him all the names, and that's where they got it from.
Yeah, that was the dolphin sound as a name for the player intros that they'd spoof.
And then at the end, Dan Smith, BYU.
Yeah, Dan Smith.
But they are amazing. How do we? Oh, the 2 pumps. By the way, Rico Dowdle, why are they fining him for that? That was not finable. I don't want to make that a big deal, but
because it was 2 pumps.
It was such an overreaction by the NFL.
Big overreaction. So Dowdle joked on social media that he's going to start a GoFundMe for the fine. And then he actually did create a GoFundMe to raise money for Children's Home Society of North Carolina. It has raised over $12,000 with Dowdle contributing $1,000 of his own. The goal is $20,000. So feel free to be charitable there.
I got an email from a PR company promoting the GoFundMe of Rico Dowdle, and I emailed back and said, well, can Rico Dowdle come on the show? I have not heard back yet.
Well, right now he's dealing with a quad injury, unfortunately, and so I don't know if he's even questionable for the game this week.
How much was the fine?
$15,000.
Oh, okay.
Why, you want to cover it?
You can't be making that much, right?
No, I don't want to cover it.
Significant for him.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, it's significant for him, and I thought maybe it'd be a little bit more, and I was like, well, $12,000 doesn't really seem, doesn't really equate to the fine, but if it was just a $15,000 fine, then it's all good.
Is Rico Dowdle the breakout star this NFL season?
Yeah.
Like, not only is he 3rd in rushing yardage behind only Jonathan Taylor and James Cook, but he had the great quote after he took it to his old team, the Cowboys. Remember, he had told them to buckle up, and then after the game, he ran for over 200 yards against them and just deadpans. They wasn't buckled up. Like, this guy's been phenomenal. Now he's doing Key and Peele sketches out there, running for touchdowns on the Packers.
He could get up to 1,500 yards. I mean, he's on pace because he didn't really have all the carries early in the season. It's insane. If he played all season, he might have been in the 2,000-yard conversation easily.
Now they host the New Orleans Saints, this weekend, where they're 5.5-point favorites, and he was held out of practice yesterday. So we'll keep an eye on that. What else you got, Pete?
Yeah, he's got a quad issue. Well, the Jets are sad and irrelevant, so I don't want to bring everybody down here, but I do think that this might be the soundbite of the year. Now, I'm a little biased. I'm a Jets guy. But when head coach Aaron Glenn was hired in the winter, he stated that his goal was to make the Jets a team that fans could be proud of. Well, after starting 1-7, trading Quinnen Williams and Sauce Gardner, Glenn was asked about that goal.
I want this to be a team that the fans are proud of. But again, I never said that we're going to be proud of them right now.
Unreal.
I mean, like, how high a bar are we talking about being proud of your team? We're talking about, like, oh, they play hard, they have heart, right? I mean, what else makes a fan proud of their team? That's kind of what you're talking about. We're not talking about making the playoffs. You're saying, I just want the fans to be proud of our team, and now we can't even hit that low bar.
Honestly, what is he, under oath? Like, what do you do? I never said when exactly, Your Honor. I did just said whether you'd be proud eventually of us. Like, what? That is the
one day
silliest response I've ever heard.
Everybody knows, you got a 3-year grace period to make your team proud, man.
Yeah, wow. Build that culture, Aaron Glenn. I didn't say we'd be proud right now. Now we're a bunch of scumbags, but soon we're going to be really awesome. You're going to be super proud of it. If you're in a locker room right now, Prof, I know it couldn't get worse for the Jets. I'm sure morale has got to be at an all-time low, but still, you hear your coach say that, like, you're not even proud? We can't even hold our heads up in front of our home crowd or anything like that?
I mean, come on. They know. they watch the games, Maggie. They're not.
They're in the games.
Yeah, they're in the games, but more watch the games because they're not really in the games.
Fair.
They're at the stadium. No, they know. I have no idea. Like, I love that they just put out the tank flag. It's
Wait,
perfect.
EJ, are the Jets or Pete, you guys can both answer this, you're Jets guys, are you winning a game the rest of the season?
Oh, yeah. I think they're going to beat the Dolphins.
Okay.
The Jets will win like 5 games. This is what they do.
If they want,
they won't have the number one pick.
To me.
It is a year where you don't need to tank. Let's be honest. Like, it's a crapshoot at the top of this draft. So
yes,
they've got Cleveland, Miami. You've got at New Orleans. I mean, in theory, some winnable.
In theory, there are wins on the schedule. I don't think there are a lot, but something tells me. I mean, beating a team twice, even a bad team like the Dolphins, like, it's not easy. I get the feeling the Dolphins are going to find a way to lose when they come to MetLife. That might be their only other win.
Yeah, that's true.
If the Jets get the number one pick, they're going to earn it.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a fact.
Honestly, I think that's a lot of pressure on the Jets to have that number one pick for a subpar number one pick. Like, I'd almost rather be 2 or 3 if I'm the Jets. You know what I mean, EJ? Like, I know, like, number one is going to be a lot of pressure. Then they're going to bring, like, Fernando Mendoza to New York as a number one overall pick. That sounds like a recipe for not good.
Well, to me,
feel like
to be
Zach
honest,
Wilson.
if they get the number one pick, I would be inclined to put that up for sale and say, hey, listen, like, we're not all in on any of these quarterbacks because now they already got all these other picks. They can add even more to the treasure trove.
So what do you do then?
Well, that was a topic we had yesterday.
Who's your quarterback next year?
Well, that was the topic yesterday.
Under contract,
Go Fields.
So, yeah, I mean, he's under contract. I mean, as painful as that would be, and I agree with Pete. It's painful.
You're gonna run back Aaron Glenn and Justin Fields. I mean,
Pete, that was like
did
the
we
sound
watch
of
the
a
game
man.
in London?
That was the sound of a man who walked in and just saw that his dog had diarrhea all over the carpet. Like, oh,
sounded like me.
You're not excited about Justin Fields 2.0? Come on, baby.
Let me make Pete even more upset. I saw a Photoshop the other day of Kyler Murray in the Jets uniform, and I almost threw up.
Fine.
Oh,
fine.
Can I tell you fine on Kyler Murray?
This crap is crap.
Can I tell you that this is delusional just for the rest of the country? If you are not a fan of like how New York fans exist, right? And sometimes New York fans, we will raise our hands about, be a little obnoxious. We can think the whole world kind of centers around us and, who wouldn't want to be in New York? And obviously that.
It's
Yesterday,
the New York Yankees, damn it.
This was either a caller into WFAN or something said, take all those picks and trade them for Joe Burrow.
Yeah, I saw that.
Cincinnati is just going to hand over Joe Burrow? Like,
but Joe Flacco
New York.
is now the guy in Cincinnati.
Yeah, right.
Next year, but obviously, it's obviously tankier next year. I mean, imagine Jeremiah Smith in a Jets uniform. Keyshawn Johnson 2.0. That'd be amazing. You could get excited. I agree. Do not draft these quarterbacks. Do a full tank next year. But that's a long time to wait fans to ask.
It's all right.
2 years.
It's been 15 years since they made the playoffs.
But seriously, can they wait 2 years? To EJ's point, I mean, this actually, I know we're joking about the Jets, but how do they team build? Do they try to win games next year? Because
I'm a loser.
I think the smart thing is to really do like a Sixers, I'm wearing a Sixers hat, a Sixers kind of process. I just don't know if any fan base can handle that.
They've been handling it. Look at Pete. Look at EJ. I mean, can it get any worse? Like they've been around this block so many times. Got anything else for us, Pete?
Well, I eat salads so I could see the Jets' next winning season. I have to try to live that long. That's how I
get some cardio
in. It's not great. Well, we had a big milestone in the NHL last night. Alexander Ovechkin becoming the first to reach 900 career goals.
I think a couple of days ago somebody asked me about, do you think about it? Of course, it's, huge number. No one ever did it in NHL history, and be first player ever do it. It's a special moment.
That's pretty cool. He's still so effective. How old is Ovechkin
40.
now? I'm trying
He's
to
40.
Look
I
at
just
40
looked at
years
it.
old. I mean, I guess Jaromir Jagr played until he was like 55.
Yeah.
But
you
what
move in
Ovechkin
short spaces.
continues to do.
Are people calling him the Joe Flacco of the NHL, or is it just me?
I think you got that covered, buddy.
I'm going to bring up Joe Flacco every segment right now because as an old guy, I really am feeling this guy. And Ovechkin's and LeBron, Ovechkin, and Joe Flacco are rewriting how 40-year-olds play.
But Aaron Rodgers. Want the Rodgers in there?
He's been kind of conservative under Tomlin. I need a 470-yard performance by Joe Flacco.
Well, if only
it's fun to age into this conversation, isn't it? When you hit like 40 years old and you're like, oh, there are like 3 athletes left that are older than me.
Maggie
Oh my gosh,
to-
Justin Verlander, let's go.
Maggie wants to create a new wing of the Hall of Fame just to get Joe Flacco somewhere, but she doesn't know where he fits.
There's a lane that Joe Flacco's in. It's not Canton, but it's not Columbus either. I don't know. There's something in there.
Well, I mean, there's always going to be one question that plagues Joe Flacco.
Yeah.
Is he elite?
Still asking.
Yeah. My favorite sports media moment ever is when PFT commenter, or part of my take, was at the Democratic National Convention in the 4th row. He holds up a sign that says, "Is Joe Flacco elite?" amongst all the other things.
That's
it was
amazing.
like, everyone's like, Obama. And then you see Flacco elite question mark.
Yeah, a high point for American politics for sure. Little did we know where it would go from there.
I just looked up, by the way, Tom Brady has most quarterbacks for, most wins for quarterbacks over 40. Who do you think is second?
No one. Joe Flacco. No. No. Over 40. Warren Moon?
Vinny Testaverde?
Vinny Testaverde is 3.
Is it Rodgers?
Hint, we've talked about this guy on the show in the last 2 months.
Andy Dalton? Is he 40?
No, he's 35.
Earl Morrall.
Oh,
Earl
my
Morrall.
God.
Sorry.
Earl Morrall.
Yeah, Earl Morrall.
That actually, Maggie Perloff, King of the Mountain, will come your way at the top of the hour. Earl Morrall actually not in this version. Today it will be the 85 Bears, who are the current King of the Mountain Pearls. We're trying to find the greatest NFL team of all time. And they will take on the 1994 San Francisco 49ers. That's your Steve Young finally getting over the top as a starter in San Fran.
He had like 100 touchdowns in that Super Bowl, as I recall.
Yeah, it was an 18.5-point spread. But anyway, we'll get to we get to Stan Humphries and all that. But yeah, the 94 San Francisco 49ers up against the 85 Bears today for Maggie Perloff, King of the Mountain. I was just thinking about something. So Pete brought up, and we're talking about older, over 40 athletes. But something that will always make you feel old is the kids of athletes that you watched.
Oh, yeah.
I had a tough one the other day.
Who'd you have?
Well, Drake Kirkpatrick Jr. got in trouble.
The Bengals defensive back?
His kid.
Yeah.
Let that sink in. He wasn't playing that long ago.
Guys familiar with the work of Carmelo Anthony?
Well, yeah, but like Kyan Anthony has been like a highly rated recruit. Well, I guess probably Kirkpatrick Jr. was too. But
I had the opposite last night. I was watching the T-Wolves Knicks, and Mike Conley drained a 3. I'm like, wow, Mike Conley's kid's already in the NBA. Turned out it was Mike Conley.
The OG.
And I actually thought to myself, isn't that funny? He had a left-handed son just like he is. It's the real Mike Conley. So he's, by the way, he's 38. So he's not quite 40. 40 in the NBA is hard. At the NFL quarterback, I think with the new rules, you're going to see a lot of guys chasing Earl Morrall. 888-710-4ISN.
Did you guys, speaking of Jets fans, did you know that there is a theory out there, completely unproven, and I'm not trying to denigrate the legend and legacy of Earl Morrall, which is a really hard name for me to say.
Yeah, I just screwed it up.
Ruined it for everybody.
Did you guys know that do you know what else the other famous game that Earl Morrall was in? Not just the 72 Dolphins when Brian Griese was hurt.
Yeah.
But he was the Colts quarterback when Joe Namath and the Jets won famously the only time the Jets have ever won. Do you know there is a theory that came out last week because of all the gambling stuff that somehow the Colts threw that game?
Ooh, I like it.
I didn't know that theory was out there. Now, again, unsubstantiated, not trying to denigrate anyone's legacy or people who are not around to defend
You hear
themselves.
that, Broadway Joe?
I mean, one of the reasons
it's the only way the Jets can win.
That's
what it really
Fix was it,
we know what
McCarthy.
you're doing here. Just
one of the
because
only
your team
reasons
lost
we
4
have the
doesn't mean
NFL.
ours is illegitimate, Maggie.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the impact of that, it's probably the most important game in NFL history because then the AFL and NFL merged.
Yes.
And, without that, if they hadn't thrown the game, as Maggie's now
I'm just saying,
claiming.
I thought I had heard every sports conspiracy theory possible. I really do. I mean, the Michael Jordan stuff, the frozen envelope with Patrick Ewing,
Where's Pablo Torre?
Maybe Pablo's got to go back to 1969.
Is there anything other than the fact that they were heavy favorites and lost? Is there any kind of
Yeah, there was
a
an
guy who
Earl
was in
Morrall
trouble?
connection. Like that
Oh, so
somehow
it's
someone
Earl
got
Morrall.
to Earl Morrall.
What, did they
he's
check
the
his-
one who threw it.
Maybe.
They checked his DraftKings account and saw improprieties.
Yeah,
improper betting.
1960s online betting.
That's why Joe Namath guaranteed it. He knew.
Yeah.
He's up on it. Had the good info.
I'm
Now
saying,
I'm trying to look up this box score to see what his stats were like in this game.
again, allegedly. Maybe people, again, I get fooled by the internet all the time.
Yeah, you do.
It's bad.
You're like an 80-year-old.
Oh my God, he was 6 for 17 in this game.
Yeah, Johnny Unitas came in and relieved him.
3 picks.
Yeah, he was
Well,
throwing.
back then, though,
Apparently,
that
he was throwing like some really bad picks.
back then, the Pro Bowl quarterback would have like 10 touchdowns and 36 picks. Like that is
Yes.
not bad.
Yes.
What do you think, Joe Namath? Look at Joe Namath's stats.
No, but Joe
They're the
Namath
funniest
was
thing you'll ever
okay.
see.
I mean, he was 17 for 28, 200 yards. He didn't throw a pick. I mean, even Johnny Unitas, who came in relief, was a little better.
He threw the ball 28 times and got to 200 yards.
Yes. This is 1969, 1968.
It's a short passing
What do you
game.
want?
Threw bombs to Don Maynard all day.
There you go.
888.
Fling it 70 yards downfield, man.
It wasn't that kind of game, man.
I don't get
888-710-4ISN. Pete, thank you so much. We'll hear from you again next hour. Again, Maggie Perloff, King of the Mountain, coming to you at the top of the hour, looking for the greatest NFL team of all time. 85 Bears today against the 94 San Francisco 49ers. And coming up, a baseball question for you.
Ooh.
MVP.
You're in a 5-minute.
We rolled in every morning, half asleep and half alive, talking sports and chasing dreams, just trying to survive. Now the lights are out, the board's gone black, and Pete ain't coming, he ain't ever coming back. Yeah, the mics are cold, but the story's burned. We gave it all till the final turn. Goodbye, infinity. We rode that wave like a runaway train. Now the soundboard's silent and there's no more pain. Pete's finally free from the 9 to 3, sleeping in his glory, living the dream. Yeah, Pete ain't showing up, not today, not ever again. DA's laughing somewhere, raising a glass to the crew. We built a wild little empire, yeah, we saw it through. But Pete, oh Pete, he's a Hall of Fame ghost, clocked in twice a week. That's what he did most. He said, I'll be there soon, yeah, we spark we had. Now the static's singing something kind of sad. But somewhere out there, under the morning sun, Pete's sleeping like a man who finally won. Goodbye, infinity. We'll miss the noise, the late night fights, the countdown clocks and studio lights. But Pete's alarm is 6 feet deep. He's gone to dream and oversleep. Yeah, Pete ain't showing up, not today, not ever again.
So long, Infinity Sports Network. We talk the talk, but Pete, he snoozed the snooze.
Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Javaris and Lamar, University of Middle Tennessee.
Devoyne Shower Handle, University of Southern Mississippi.
Hingle McCringleberry, Penn State University.
Le Carpetron Duke Marriott, Florida Atlantic University. TJ, AJ, RJ, /4th, the 5th, Albion College.
San Diego State University.
Dan Smith, BYU.
It's Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Oh, man.
I love the colleges they picked too are so perfect. Florida Atlantic. Like the most random schools. That's what introductions always are. It's like University of Alabama. Then it's always like South Florida or something you don't expect.
Or someone will say like School of Hard Knocks, or they'll say their high school.
I love the high school.
But that was the Key and Peele sketch. Yeah, Hingle McCringleberry, I think, is probably the most famous, but I do love Le Carpetron, Duke Marriott. So anyway, that all got started because Rico Dowdle got fined, even though he only did 2 pumps in the celebration. And everyone knows from the Key and Peele sketch, you don't get fined until you go 3 pumps for the excessive celebration. But he started GoFundMe. He's trying to help kids and turn it into a positive.
Le Carpetron Duke Marriott.
So good. All right, this is an interesting story. We'll get back to the NFL in just a moment because we got some questions for you and a big baseball question I want to get to. But want to pause on this for a moment. So obviously we had a major gambling scandal that broke, what was that, 2 weeks ago now, Pearl? We were on the air when the FBI is doing a press conference about Chauncey Billups and Terry Rozier and Damon Jones, that whole NBA scandal, along with the poker games and all the ties to the mob. So we got to maybe fresh eyes on sports betting, just how vulnerable, teams, games, the integrity of the sport, making sure that things are on the level, how vulnerable that can be. Now, ESPN has their own sports book.
ESPN Bet.
Yes, ESPN Bet. They actually partnered with a company called Penn Gambling. What's it called? Penn. They were with Barstool.
Penn Live?
It was just called Penn Entertainment is what they're calling it.
Okay.
They were with Barstool until they divested from Barstool, and then they got in with ESPN. They signed this gigantic deal. EJ, what was it, 10 years?
10 years, $2 billion.
$2 billion with a B, okay? But since they signed that deal, something else happened with ESPN, which is the NFL bought a 10% stake in the worldwide leader. So I know Craig Carton had brought this up. He was a former colleague of ours here and obviously has had a history as a gambler. And he, talks very openly about that, about how this is such a conflict of interest, Pearl, for ESPN to be both in bed with a sports book and also with a sports league.
I mean, I don't want to read too much into it without more. I think the NFL easily could have pressured it. ESPN bet, because one thing, what is the most dangerous thing to a sport is when people think that something they're seeing is not authentic.
Yeah, so anyway, so I should say what the news is today is that
sorry,
ESPN,
I thought you said
I don't know if I laid it out, ESPN is no longer going to have ESPN bet. They are getting out of the gambling business, and I don't know if they were going to have to do this anyway because gambling is very regulated in this country, but obviously the attention that was brought on it and some raised eyebrows and the scandal and all of this maybe forced their hand.
I don't think it forced their hand. I think Roger Goodell forced their hand. I mean, the NFL, now that they're really partnering with ESPN and they can't have this. ESPN, well, I mean, they've given up on journalism a long time ago, right? So they're more of a take company on that side. It's $13.7 billion industry. I think there's only company that could pressure them into dropping this had to be the NFL. Why else would they do it?
Maybe regulation? Like, was this the government who may have been like, listen, this is not okay?
Our government? The American government?
It's currently shut down right now. I realize that.
No. I think it has to be the league. I don't think the NFL wants NBA-like headlines. I mean, NBA, like currently NBA.
But is that going to really, if somebody wants to manipulate their prop bets, or if, the NFL's already had some of these.
No, they're just going to worry that there's going to be some bad calls against Patrick Mahomes in the AFC title game in Buffalo. And people are going to see like, well, NFL is invested in a gambling company. What's going on?
Right. They
people
make
are going to connect the
off
dots
of this, right? Like say if you fade a favorite or someone throws a game.
There's a bad call. Nowadays, like you have to beware. If anything that happens that looks unusual, immediately think about all the money that's been bet on it. It's a massive, massive issue for pro sports.
Yeah.
And college sports, too.
Have you guys seen the UFC headlines that are coming out? Obviously, this has been a huge one.
Yeah, you were talking. Can you explain it a little?
Yeah, so Dana White came out on Tuesday and confirmed that the FBI is looking into, I'm not the biggest UFC person. Is his name Isaac Dulgarian? He had a controversial loss this past Saturday, UFC Vegas 110, where all of a sudden the line moved really drastically right before the fight, and then he lost. And according to like people who do this for a living, so I'm going to defer to them, he was like walking into punches and stuff. I think at one point he like walked into a near rear naked choke. I'm not going to pretend that I know all of this stuff about combat sports.
That's a brutal sport to have to throw.
Oh my God. Yeah. Boxing, like
I'd rather,
UFC.
I'd rather,
come here, bro. Let me just choke you out real quick.
I'd rather airball a couple free throws instead of walking to a punch.
It's a lot safer. But meanwhile, then after this happened, and so Dana White came out on Tuesday and said, the FBI alerted them immediately. The sports books alert the FBI. The FBI alerts Dana. He said it does not look good for Isaac Dulgarian. So he might be going away for a while or something. If I'm the UFC, if I'm Dana White, like embrace it, like say, don't. The worst thing I think you could do as a commissioner, and even in this situation, don't get everything out in the open. Do not try and put it under the rug. No, he's saying, well, it's not my problem. Like, I didn't do anything. And we caught it, and they'll say this is actually the system working. But just quickly, what came out of that is other former fighters came out and said, I've been offered to throw fights all the time.
Yep. It's kind of like the NBA scandal. The legal sports books caught all the action immediately. So, if this was all illegal and under the table, then that's even worse. So it's not really... To me, this is not a huge blow to the gambling industry. It's just ESPN's out.
888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. All right, coming up, Maggie Perloff, King of the Mountain. Who will move on as we look for the greatest NFL team of all time? 85 Bears versus the 94 49ers. We'll break it all down next. Hingle McCringleberry.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining.
floating every morning, half asleep and half alive, talking sports and chasing dreams, just trying to survive. Now the lights are out, the board's gone black, and Pete ain't coming, he ain't ever coming back. Yeah, the mics are cold, but the stories burn. We gave it all till the final turn. Goodbye, infinity. We rode that wave like a runaway train. Now the soundboard's silent and there's no more pain. Pete's finally free from the 9 to 3, sleeping in his glory, living a dream. Yeah, Pete ain't showing up, not today, not ever again. DA's laughing somewhere, raising a glass to the crew. We built a wild little empire, yeah, we saw it through. But Pete, oh Pete, he's a Hall of Fame ghost, clocked in twice a week, that's what he did most. He said, I'll be there soon, yeah, we've heard that line. Now he's punching out for the very last time. It's been one hell of a beautiful mess, talking tape and total stress. Pete's alarm's been dead since 24, and now we don't need it anymore. Yeah, Pete ain't showing up, not today, not ever again. We gave the airwaves every spark we had, now the static's singing something kind of sad. But somewhere out there under the morning sun, Pete's sleeping like a man who finally won. Goodbye, we'll miss the noise, the late night fights, the countdown clocks and studio lights. But Pete's alarm is 6 feet deep, he's gone to dream and oversleep. Yeah, Pete ain't showing up, not today, not ever again.
So long, Infinity Sports Network.
30 seconds remaining.
We talk the talk, but Pete,
15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Now that the dust is settled on the trade deadline, how many real Super Bowl contenders do we have? Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Pearl, this is kind of it. Squads are set here. I mean, you get guys back from IR and stuff, but as far as making big moves, we saw a couple on Tuesday, which was obviously Indianapolis going all in on Sauce Gardner, the 2 first-round picks, and Dallas adding Quinnen Williams for a second-round pick and a first-round pick in 2027. And then Seattle, who added a really nice wide receiver weapon, and they're already one of the best teams in the NFC, and Rashid Shaheed. So
and Philadelphia.
And Philadelphia adding Jalen Phillips.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That happened a few days ago, so I get what you're saying.
Okay, so I guess, like, for me, the biggest two questions for Dallas, I'm going to pause on that. I'm going to go corporate speak. We're going to put a pin in that. I think this is more for next year and the year after with Quinnen Williams. You're already 3-5-1. It's going to be tough to dig yourself out of that hole. But for Indy and for Seattle, two teams that we have not considered anywhere close to Super Bowl contenders in years now. Who do you think actually got closer?
Seattle. Because Seattle doesn't have Kansas City looming at some point. Doesn't have Buffalo looming at some point. The AFC is so top heavy. The AFC as a whole is not great. You said we have all these new Super Bowl contenders. I'm like, that's great. Who's going to get the call in the fourth quarter when the Bills play the Chiefs in the AFC title game?
Oh, it's going to come down to the refs.
No. I'm just saying, no. It's going to come down to those two teams because recent history has shown that those two teams rise to the top. So I feel like the Colts are going to have a harder time getting out of that. The NFC is a bit more erratic. You know, it hasn't been Chiefs. The NFC's been the Rams. It's been the Eagles. It's been the Niners. So I feel like this is a closer competition in the NFC, and Seattle could find their way to come out of that. It's going to be hard, but they do have the quarterback's playing well, but really they want to win Ravens style. They want to win with defense and running, and they can do that.
See, for me, it might be Indy because while I don't really believe that Daniel Jones is a Super Bowl winning quarterback, I really don't see that for Sam Darnold either. I think there's a ceiling on both of these guys. But you mentioned that the AFC is top heavy, but look at the two teams at the top. This feels kind of flawed. A Buffalo team matching up against Indianapolis, let's just think about it. Jonathan Taylor could run all over the Bills. I mean, they could control that game, especially if it's in Indy. And Kansas City right now has shown that they can be vulnerable when you get to Patrick Mahomes. The offensive line for Kansas City lost two guys during that Bills game, and they didn't do anything to address that on Tuesday at the trade deadline.
Yeah, but they never do. I mean,
it's cost them a couple Super Bowls.
I know, but they still get to the Super Bowl.
That is true.
I tend to believe that trade deadline and free agency, things like this, the teams that make noise, it doesn't always work. I mean, the reality is you can win on a Tuesday, but that doesn't always translate to winning on a Sunday. You could trademark that, Manny.
Get on top of that. Actually, I'm glad you brought up acquisitions and going all in because it goes perfectly into Maggie and Perloff's King of the Mountain.
Who is the king of the mountain? Maggie and Perloff search for the greatest NFL team of all time.
What a run for the 84 49ers. They were king of the mountain. And we'll always have our fun 76ers 49ers mashup. Manny hit the wrong button. All right. We'll always get our fun 49ers music from the 84 Niners. They were king of the mountains for 5 weeks, CJ? 6 weeks? And then the 85 Bears came along and they dethroned the 84 Niners. So we got the 85 Bears, Pearl, are now the king of the mountain. We gave the wheel a spin yesterday, and it landed on the 94 San Francisco 49ers. But first, a look back. Here's your 85 Bears.
Mike, man, I'm going to kill him. Wilbur, I'm going to get there first. Dent was saying, no, I'm getting there first. And it was going on, and Hampton was saying, no, I'm getting there first. And I'm looking at these guys, and I'm saying, wait. The guy is bleeding. The guy is bleeding at the mouth. The guy is bleeding at the nose. You don't have to kill the guy. We don't care. He's the quarterback. We're going to get him. That's what we do.
Mike Singletary, hell of a storyteller, talking about his defensive teammates on that 85 Bears team, arguing about who's going to kill the quarterback first or the most. Obviously, 85 Bears, one of the most iconic teams in NFL history. Dominant, the Super Bowl against the New England Patriots, 46-10, just a no-doubter. Defense ranked first in the NFL, points allowed, yards allowed, and takeaways. 6 Hall of Famers on that team. They are the king of the mountain for now. Today, they face the 94 San Francisco 49ers.
Quick pass, slant in, Jerry Rice, another touchdown! Steve Young is now number 1 all time with 6 touchdown passes.
Mike Shanahan at the end of the game was upset because it was only 6 touchdown passes because he wanted 8.
Every guy in here,
Every guy in here made a commitment. You know you did. There were times when it was dark. It was really dark. We turned back into each other's face and committed to each other. You knew we had to do it this way. This is the greatest feeling in the world. Is it not? 39 days! Hey, I share this with every one of you guys. Everyone in this room made a commitment, and we're there. And no one can ever take it away from us. Ever!
Steve Young, man, it was he was a two-time MVP at this point, Pearl, going into that 94 season. But obviously the 49ers had lost back-to-back NFC championship games to, of course, the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah. And while Steve Young was, had sat behind Joe Montana famously, but then was winning MVPs but could not win that Super Bowl, and you could tell it just weighed on him, He's very open about it. That was a tricky situation. I can't even imagine a situation like that in modern day where you've got these two Hall of Famers on the same team, both in their prime. And Joe Montana had won the 4 Super Bowls, and then Steve Young sitting there behind him. I mean, it's just crazy. It feels like that feels like a different era. You could not do that today.
Probably the all-time quarterback controversy.
No, we'll never.
But I mean,
like
Steve Young was until he got. But it reminds me a little of Sam Darnold. Until he got to San Francisco, was a huge bust. I mean, he was like an all-time bust. So, but getting into the debate a little bit.
Yeah.
It's weird because we had the Bears knock out a previous version of this team. But I'm having trouble, I'll be honest. How do you place the 94 Niners within the whole picture of who the Niners were? Because part of me, my first instinct is, well, they didn't have Bill Walsh, they had George Seifert. So you immediately downgrade him. If Bill Walsh can't beat the 85 Bears, how is George Seifert going to beat the 85 Bears?
Well, this was, I don't know. This was a really interesting team, though, because there was a time early in the season of 94 where Steve Young actually got benched during a game. George Seifert actually really had to put his own mark on this team and handle Steve Young in a way that ultimately ended up doing the best thing for them, which is got Steve Young really ticked off. And people thought that he wasn't fiery enough and that he didn't care. Not that he didn't care, but that he wasn't a leader in a certain way. And Steve Young got so mad at getting benched in that game against your Philadelphia Eagles that he came out and was like house on fire the next week against Detroit, and that was a turning point. But one of the things I brought up about the 94 49ers, it's not exactly applicable to the trade deadline necessarily, but this was a team that went all in after losing 2 NFC championship games back-to-back against the Cowboys. Brought in Deion Sanders. They brought in 27 new players for this 94 team, including Ken Norton was the other one. So they recognized the opportunity and the amount of pressure that was building on Steve Young. And, the season didn't even start off that great. I think they were like 4-2 and they were kind of middling. And then they ended up really strong. And 13-3 was the final record. And of course, San Diego, the Chargers, and Stan Humphries were no match.
Yeah, fodder. Yeah, but here's the thing.
Yeah.
I just watched the Cowboys documentary coming into the season on Netflix. If Jerry Jones had not let Jimmy Johnson walk out of that building, is the 94 Niners even in this list? I mean, let's be honest. Let's be really honest about it.
Pearl.
I know, but the Cowboys, conveniently for those Niners, I'd also, too, so their best player, obviously, is Jerry Rice.
Yeah.
I just looked up, he's 32 on this team.
He would play for another 10 years.
That's factually true.
Yeah.
I know, but if you're talking greatest of all time, this is, to me, not the greatest Niners team of all time, despite that Super Bowl romp. So I'm going to have trouble surpassing the 85 Bears. This is 94 Niners all-time team, no doubt. But we're talking about going against one of the great teams of all time. And the funny thing is, you mentioned Shanahan. The coaching staff was amazing.
Yep.
The head coach, I don't know. George Seifert, I still to this day, I have no real impression of him. But Shanahan and Kubiak below him, I mean, look at what those guys then did for the NFL. They created basically the modern NFL. Shanahan begat Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan, and Kubiak begat a million people. So they took Bill Walsh to the next level. But George Seifert did not really do it. He looked like a businessman or a librarian trying to be an NFL coach.
On.
Do you ever watch a press conference with George Seifert?
Yeah.
There's just no way that would work today. He was an odd fit there. I mean,
he's
I
not
always
like
thought
Ditka,
that.
I'll give you that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I love this 94 team, and Steve Young was amazing. But let's be honest, they're going against the 85 Bears.
I know. I think that the Bears are going to be remembered as more dominant, but this 94 team, I don't think there was the type of pressure maybe on the Bears that there was on this team. '94 team, and because of Steve Young and what they needed to prove and how they could not get past the Dallas Cowboys. I don't remember the Bears beyond just like, the Packers and their divisional stuff, that having like that one team where you're just like cannot get over the hump, and then they actually did have to go through Dallas on their way to winning the Super Bowl.
No.
So there you go. Maggie Perloff, King of the Mountain. 85 Bears now take on the 94 49ers.
The Bears had a Bill Parcells and Joe Gibbs problem, as I recall.
That's true.
Many people did. They ran into
Joe
those
Gibbs, you're right.
crazy good and Parcells too.
Yep.
Yeah, they ran in. So you're right, but they didn't have the nemesis that the Niners did. So you're right. Give them a lot of credit for that. But this is a hard thing to be King of the Mountain, man. Look at Joe Gibbs' package in these shorts right here. Did I say that?
That's not AI, buddy.
Look at Joe Gibbs' package. Yeah.
One of my favorite, this is so silly, but because you guys know that I love sequels, I always feel a little bit of a kindred spirit with Steve Young. He and I have nothing in common.
Okay.
But we have this in common. Steve Young had like a quirk that he watched the same movie over and over again before games to calm himself down.
Got it.
That movie was a sequel.
BYU.
Beverly Hills Cop 2?
Nope. Oh, I wish. For Steve's
Please don't
sake.
tell me it's Caddyshack 2.
It's not Caddyshack 2.
Okay.
It is City Slickers 2, The Legend of Curly's Gold.
I have that movie on DVD.
So does Steve Young.
That one was good, as I recall. How was the City Slickers 2? Or probably not that good.
No sequels are good. This is what you guys keep telling me outside of The Godfather 2.
No comedy sequels are good.
Well.
Generally, that's hard to do.
So anyway, I always thought that was a weird quirk.
Except for Police Academy, of course.
I always find myself kind of feeling like rooting for Steve Young in these instances because I can't even imagine these moments. But then you meet Joe Montana. We're lucky enough to interview Joe Montana at the Super Bowl a couple years ago, Pearl. And you feel for Joe Montana because in some ways Tom Brady has so eclipsed Joe Montana, who was always thought of as just hands down the quarterback, the winner, along with Jerry Rice. Like people call Jerry the GOAT, the greatest player ever, no matter what position. And then Tom Brady kind of came in and not erased Joe Montana, but has totally surpassed Joe Montana.
No, I feel so bad for Joe Montana. Poor guy.
You didn't feel for him a little bit that time we talked to him at the Super Bowl? He's talking about playing with his bicep ripped off the bone.
Yeah, it's because he's carrying those rings on his hands all the time, and it weighs him down. No, I don't feel bad for Joe Montana. I would have felt bad for Steve Young if he'd ever got a Super Bowl. So there is a feel-good aspect to this 94 Niners, but there's just... I can't imagine what the 85 Bears would have done to that short passing game. Jerry Rice comes over the middle. He would have gotten hunted if they ever played in 85. But then again, the 85 Bears didn't win again, so maybe there was something there. I feel like the 94 Niners, they're a top 20 all-time team where the Bears are a top 3 all-time team.
I do feel like that team, the Niners, they don't get enough credit for being one of the greatest offenses of all time.
Yeah.
They scored the most points in the history of the postseason. That record stood literally until, hate to bring them up again, Perloff's Eagles last season broke that record. So we're talking about the explosion of offense. We've all seen all these passing stats and stuff. The 94 Niners scored all those points back in 1994, and that record for the most points in a postseason run has stood the test of time pretty much until last year. So when we think about passing offenses, we think about efficiency. Yes, it wasn't obviously Bill Walsh, but Mike Shanahan, 2-time Super Bowl winning head coach, awesome offensive play caller. This was a deadly offense, especially Ricky Waters, running back too, coming out of the backfield, catching the passes and run. They were a good team.
Yeah. How many Hall of Famers, sorry, I don't have it in front of me, on defense? Brian Young, right?
Yeah, Brian Young was the only, Brian Young and Dion. So they have 4 Hall of Fame players, Steve Young, Dion, Jerry, and Brian Young.
Don't forget, I had 2 sons. Right?
I don't know if Shiloh was born yet. And then you got Eddie DeBarlo, of course, is the other Hall of Famer on this organization.
Yeah, and I know their D coordinator was Ray Rhodes because he, the next year, went to the Eagles and was a horrible head coach.
That game Maggie was mentioning that Steve Young got benched was against those Eagles. Yeah. They got destroyed 40-8.
Early in the season. Another fun fact here, and I know this was as of a couple years ago, but I don't know if it's still the same. So I started looking back at the Super Bowl because the 94 San Francisco 49ers were 18.5-point favorites in the Super Bowl. We kind of went through a stretch there, Pearl, where there were some big blowouts in the Super Bowl. And
thank you, Bills.
Stan Humphries was the quarterback for the San Diego Chargers. And I always thought that was kind of funny because it's like Stan Humphries against Steve Young. Like, there was not a chance here. And that was a great team. It obviously had Rodney Harrison was on that team, and Junior Seau was on that team, and there were definitely a lot of great players. But Stan Humphries always kind of sounds kind of like someone sitting on his recliner, Does Stan Humphries sound like a guy who's going to lead you to a win over the vaunted San Francisco 49ers? But guess what? Do you know what Stan Humphries ended up doing after his football career, Pearl?
Selling insurance. What?
Stan Humphries, I don't know if he's still doing it. Stan Humphries became an assistant women's basketball coach in Monroe, Louisiana, University of Louisiana, Monroe, assistant women's basketball coach. Apparently his daughter got really into basketball. He loved basketball and made his way onto the bench for a women's basketball team. And I think he coached there for a while.
That's wild.
Isn't that a fun fact about Stan Humphries?
Before that, he was the head coach of his daughter's high school. So
head coach of the high school I could see, but to be a college assistant,
though. He's not a football. He's a football player.
Hey, EJ, I'm seeing more Hall of Famers. I don't have it again in front of me. Was Ricky Jackson on this team and Richard Dent? They brought in some old guys. Merton Hanks didn't make the Hall of Fame, but he's an all-neck Hall of Famer.
First ballot, all very long necks.
That's the whole thing about the Niners dynasty too. Did they have the defense to? That's the Bill Walsh thing. Like, did they have enough defense really? Ronnie Lott was gone at that point to really compete in this. I'm obviously standing for this 85 Bears. I want them to win this whole thing. I'm going to be honest.
Oh, come on.
I
you gotta
know.
be
No,
objective, Pearl.
No, I just think that just in my memory, like, you know how it is. If you're doing singular seasons, the 85 Bears is the first one you talk about.
888-710-4ISN. That's a totally different conversation. But today we are doing who is the greatest team of all time. Well, similar conversation.
It sounds like the exact same conversation.
Versus 94 49ers. Well, we're doing today. Let's just do these two teams.
Keep it focused on today.
Focused on today.
By the way, I think this is the first matchup we have where a player will be facing themselves. Because Richard Dent, in his prime, is not facing Richard Dent.
Oh, yeah. They signed him on. I don't think he did anything for them. They brought in some old guys.
He played 2 games for the team.
Dion could play himself at some point, right? Dion is on multiple teams.
Yes, he there's very likely.
So this is the first. If the Niners win today, Dion could, who knows, face himself next week.
Yeah, and Dion played both ways, so Dion could cover himself in theory.
This is some Black Mirror stuff, guys.
Like
Get out of here with it.
Wow.
888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Maggie Perloff only covering the most up-to-date stories, which is who was a better team, the 85 Bears against the 94 San Francisco 49ers. You're not getting that anywhere else.
Not today, anyway.
Meanwhile, we will get to a story that, to be honest, not only making huge waves in the sports world in general, but also in our office. It's the Maggie Perloff Show.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 3 minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Sobre el Panamera, pongo palmas sobre la Guantanamera, llevo camarón en la guantera.
Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff Show. All right. It's been a wild week. You know, Maggie, we haven't talked a little bit about the Penn State opening. Obviously, they're not going to make an official hire during the season, but there was a time when everybody under the sun was coming up for this opening, including possibly Urban Meyer, and our buddy Zach Gelb got right in there.
Yeah, let's talk to Zach, obviously host of the Zach Gelb Show on many of these same Infinity Sports Network channels. And Zach, thanks for waking up early for us today. So tell us the latest. You're in a back and forth right now with none other than Urban Meyer. So what was the report you had originally about Urban's possible interest in the Penn State head coach opening?
Yes. So my original report was last week when I said it on my show, is that I had two sources tell me that Urban Meyer was interested and had a strong interest in the Penn State job. But ultimately, when he talked to the powers that be at Penn State in the hiring process, when they had their preliminary discussions, and then it continued a little bit further than that, when the topic of NIL came up, they didn't view him as a fit and a desired candidate anymore because of the way that he would navigate NIL and some of his answers on that front.
Okay, so Penn State said no thank you to Urban Meyer, according to your sources.
Yes, and I 1,000% stand by that, and I understand that Urban is going to reject it, and I understand why he's going to reject it, which I thought it was interesting in his denial of the story. He claims that I mentioned the senator that he met with, which I never said that. in my 2-minute report. And then he wants me to name my sources too, which I'm not going to do because then you would never have sources again because people trust you with this information. But when it comes to Urban Meyer shooting down the story, I understand why he would do it because he's arguably one of the greatest college football coaches of all time. And if he won a job and got rejected by the job or had interest in the job at a bare minimum, not a good look for Urban Meyer. I wouldn't want that out there either.
Zach, can you explain a little bit? Why would Urban Meyer, I know he's old school, but why would he not be good enough at NIL?
Well, the way that I look at it is, why is Nick Saban no longer in college football? Because he didn't want to deal with name, image, and likeness and the transfer portal. So there could be a resistance to the structure that's going on. And I don't know exactly what Urban Meyer's plans were for NIL. But with that being said, he's the guy that is rooted. If you watch the Florida documentary, it was his way or the highway. At Ohio State, it was his way or the highway. Now the players have more power than ever. And look at what happened in the NFL when it wasn't his way or the highway. I think Urban Meyer is one of the greatest college coaches of all time, but he was an unmitigated disaster in the NFL when the structure is a little bit different and the players have more power. And he thought he could just roll it in and do whatever he did at college. And he didn't even last the whole season with Shad Khan and the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, well, how could we all ever forget Urban Meyer in the bar with the young woman who's definitely cringe.
I was going to go when he kicked the kicker. That was the one that jumps to mind for me as well.
That also led to a lawsuit. Zach Gelb is joining us, host of the Zach Gelb Show, has broke some news that Urban Meyer had interest in the Penn State opening, but it was Penn State who said no thank you, did not think that he was up on the modern times enough to be handling NIL and the latest changes in college football. Zach, it's funny. So you made your report. You're well-sourced, right? And then Urban, in his podcast, said, well, that's not true. But he did mention about meeting with the senator from Pennsylvania. He kind of just offered that. Oh, we have a little bit of Urban Meyer, Zach. We're going to play it for the audience. Here's Urban Meyer talking about the senator from PA.
Who is the guy again? My phone started blowing up. What's
Zach
his name again?
Gelb, I believe, was his name.
Yeah,
We're giving him some credit right now, apparently.
Yeah, and you got to give him credit. And he has two sources that said that I met with the senator we became friends. Rob, you were there with Dave McCormick when we covered a Penn State game, and I stayed in touch with him, and we had breakfast in the Capitol, and we talked politics, Mark, and then there's another one. He said the source says that I had conversations with Penn State about the NIL, and I didn't know how to handle the NIL or so. So
come on,
first
Coach.
of all, that never happened.
Figure it out, man. How do you not handle NIL?
How do we get the two sources on our show here?
Very interesting, Zach. I mean,
by the way, and Zach, just to defend you, like a college football coach, they're trustworthy. They never say the utilitarian.
Oh yeah,
thing.
Let me tell you, Urban Meyer, he just screams to be, the definition of trustworthy, and that's why I said I issued a response yesterday. If Urban wants to be that ridiculous and do the whole name your sources game, well, why don't we do a charity event at Urban Meyer's Pine House, very famous Pine House, obviously, was in the news one, and we hook you up to a lie detector test. We'll raise a bunch of money for charity, and you tell me that you were never interested at all in the Penn State job, right? If it's that easy, let's do that, Coach.
Well, if Urban Meyer's taking a lie detector test, I have about 15 other questions that I'd love to ask him, mostly stuff about what happened at the University of Florida. But Zach Gelb is on the line with us, breaking some news this last week, and that Urban Meyer responded to it, that Urban was interested in the Penn State job. So you know what this makes me think, Zach? Maybe that Urban Meyer is not done coaching and would go somewhere else, who maybe is so blinded maybe by his fame, celebrity, and what he did at Florida, Ohio State, and the like, that he might actually get back into coaching. That's what this made me think.
Yeah, so that I don't know. I just knew that the Penn State job was of interest for him. He has a lot of admiration for the late Joe Paterno as well, and obviously Penn State is one of those big brands. Like, I don't think Urban Meyer is as desperate to coach where he's going to take some small job or he's going to take a job that isn't in an Urban Meyer category. But obviously Penn State is one of those big boy jobs. It's not Ohio State, obviously. It wasn't Florida when he had Florida rolling, but it's a job that's looking for a coach to get them over a hump to win a national championship. This is the ironic part about it. I actually think Urban Meyer would be a phenomenal hire for Penn State. I think it'd be a really good hire to try to go win a championship. But That's where we are today. And I just find it funny how strong he is on the denial. And he had all these people texting him, too. And people are bringing this to his desk. Well, he definitely listened to my report. And in my report, I never brought up the senator. So that's where his denial was very sloppy to start, because I never said the senator. I think it's 1 minute and 47 seconds that we put out there of my full report. And never in those, under 2 minutes did I ever say anything about this meeting with the senator.
Yeah. I like the name of the podcast, Triple Option Podcast. So I got to give you that. I'll give that Urban that. So do you have any insight or even an opinion on who will be the Penn State coach? If they don't want an Urban Meyer type, either who is a name or the kind of type that they might be looking at?
Yeah, so I think there's a few names that stand out to me. Brian Hartline, who Urban Meyer would actually advocate for. He's the offensive coordinator, obviously, at Ohio State. But if they want more of an established name, it would not shock me if the Missouri coach, Eli Drinkwitz, hits it off with Pat Kraft and the president at Penn State in the interview process. He seems like a guy that could be a good fit for Penn State. I will say, I don't think this one is likely, but people have been suggesting it. Mike Elko, who's at A&M, and I think the timeline of this, and Elko, right, he's got Northeast roots, but Elko was the DC at A&M, then went to Duke, now back at A&M as the coach, and has a team that's undefeated right now. If he's in the college football playoff, it's like, how much longer can Penn State actually wait? Maybe they throw Jeff Brom into that conversation as well. Would a guy like Brent Key be interested, looking for a bigger job at Georgia Tech? I'll tell you, a guy that I think would be a rock star, and I'll be curious if he leaves Arizona State, and maybe it's not for Penn State, but it could be for Auburn, where I believe he spent a year there for. Maybe it is at Florida. A guy like Kenny Dillingham, to me, what he's been able to do the last few years at Arizona State has been very impressive, and maybe he could bring in Sam Levitt in the transfer portal. So there's some names out there, but right now I think I would zero in for Penn State if I just had to make an educated guess that either Eli Drinkwitz or Brian Hartline being the next coach.
Well, Zach, congrats, because it's so funny that you are double sourced on this report. We don't know you. You're not someone who just makes up stuff, throws stuff up against the wall. Obviously, we know you're buttoned up here, and Urban Meyer's just didn't happen. You got to come with a little something a little bit bigger than that to me, I think, when you're making these denials. But Zach, we got to get to the real reason we wanted you on, which is the other day, your producer, Mike Samter, actually hosted an hour of radio. Scale of 1 to 10, how did Samter do?
Ew! I didn't actually listen to it.
Oh, come on.
You're being honest.
So, no, I'm being fully honest. I did not listen to it yet. I think it was about 35 minutes, because I was told it was so horrible that they were like, you need to stop what you're doing and get back into the studio. No, I'm just kidding. I heard that it went well. I got a pretty cool opportunity to go on someone's podcast. And I didn't think that I could say no to this person and do their podcast. And they could only do it during the first hour of my show. So the first 30 minutes, I wasn't there.
I have a quick question.
And that was who? Joe Rogan?
Yeah. Theo Vaughn.
No, it was not Joe Rogan. And maybe it was Theo Vaughn,
Zach, I have a quick question. You might use this content on your show later today. Who has an easier schedule moving forward, Notre Dame or the New England Patriots? Because both of them basically have buys until the postseason.
See, I know what you're doing here.
Yeah, you know exactly what I'm doing.
And Maggie, I'm sure you have sympathy for me.
Yeah.
It's been 5 long years for me with just bad football.
All right, Zach, it's been great having you on the show. Zach Gelb, the host of the Zach Gelb Show.
/ Patriots fan.
/ Patriots fan. / I can't believe the Patriots are actually leading the division again, and they're good again.
They're not that good. They are feasting on bad teams.
Thank you, Zach. Did you actually hang up on him?
Oh, yeah, no, he's gone.
Okay, goodbye.
Zach, he didn't get to hear that?
No, I made the executive decision because I'm not listening to that garbage.
I'm
out of here.
5 long years.
5 long years, my hairy.
I'm texting him right now to say the same thing, that the Patriots record is eye candy. That's really interesting about Urban Meyer. And of course, I 100% believe Zach.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Zach's not somebody who's just throwing stuff out there to see if it sticks. And Urban Meyer is someone who absolutely has very great football coach, not a lot of accountability or a lot of belief in this denial.
That grumpy old guy sitting over there.
Also, I actually, this whole coaching cycle, I all go geography, and Urban Meyer, geography-wise, perfectly fits for Penn State. Lane Kiffin's not coming up to central Pennsylvania. Urban Meyer would be comfortable there.
Let's take a quick break because I don't want to shortchange Pete McCarthy from his headlines. He's bringing us some gems this morning. We had no idea that J.J. McCarthy had an alter ego until Pete joined us. So we'll get to Pete McCarthy in just a moment. And interesting about that Penn State opening, Pearl. You heard what Zach said. Brian Hartline, the offensive coordinator for Ohio State, and then Eli Drinkwitz would kind of be his top 2 candidates. Could be a few more that make sense.
Well, he also brought up a great point. The war for Sam Leavitt is going to be crazy, the Arizona State quarterback. And Kenny Dillingham is also an awesome coach, but I think if Oregon loses their quarterback, like Sam Leavitt will just jump right up there and be amazing. So you don't think about that in the coaching carousel. Can you bring a quarterback with you? Never thought about that in college football. Now that might be a thing.
Well, I thought Matt Rule was going to bring Dylan Raiola to Penn State, but obviously that's not a thing. And what about DJ Lagway? He's going to probably be someone sought after as well.
Billy Napier.
No, not Napier, but just
Well, I'm talking about
fighting for Lagway.
The coach, yeah, exactly. But the coach-quarterback combo, like Kenny Dillingham can say, hey, I got a quarterback. And by the way, on Kenny Dillingham, our good friend Quincy Avery, quarterback trainer, he really knows offensive football. He said he's the Kenny Dillingham super fan. He says he is the man. We haven't heard that name, but that is a really good one.
Okay, a lot there from Zach Gelb, so appreciate him jumping on with us this morning. Again, we'll come back. Pete's got headlines and all the latest from yesterday that we missed. It's the Maggie Perloff Show.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. "45 seconds remaining. "30 seconds remaining. "15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
I can rap like right now?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Yo, so I got it from the bottom.
We're gonna get him out of here. He wasn't never a mountain shit anyway. He couldn't do nothing for our label.
It's gonna be a good day with Maggie and Perloff.
Famous times when people hung up on guests. That was Drewski hanging up on Chance the Rapper. In the last segment, we just hung up on Zach Gelb when he tried to brag about the Patriots.
I don't understand the background of this Drewski Chance the Rapper story. EJ, you're going to have to tell me in the break.
And he cut him off immediately because he was like, "You suck."
Oh, he just hates it. Why do you have him on his show?
Because he's being a comedian. It's a bit.
But Zach Gelb joined us in the last segment because he broke some news about Urban Meyer being interested in the Penn State job. And Urban Meyer's now denied it, but Zach had the report that, officials from Penn State had met with Urban Meyer, but they didn't like his approach to NIL. And so ultimately Penn State passed on Urban Meyer. Clearly that's a blow to Urban Meyer's ego, brand, whatever. And so now Urban Meyer's trying to deny it, but obviously we back up our guy Zach Gelb through and through. Let's get to Pete McCarthy, who's got headlines for us this morning. What's up, Pete?
Yeah, 5 days ago, the Spurs, as we pivot to the NBA, they were 5-0, and it was a fair question. Is Victor Wembanyama the best player in the NBA right now? Dude is still just 21 years old. Well, Wemby was tripped up on Sunday. He scored only 9 points against the Suns. They double-teamed him incessantly, and it wasn't much better for Wemby last night. Held to 19 points on 5 of 14 shooting with 5 turnovers in a loss to the Lakers in Los Angeles. The Lakers also doubled Wemby. Wemby said the game feels fast right now and that we got stalled out sometimes. We're learning. Do we consider this a normal developmental step for an ascending star, or is there a book on Wemby now?
Well, kind of, right? We'll see how he adjusts to the adjustment, because the adjustment, Pearl, is you're sending double teams, as Pete just lined out, but it's not even necessarily with your biggest guys on the court. Like last night, obviously, Rui Hachimura's got some size, but like Marcus Smart was really harassing Victor Wembanyama last night, and he's obviously not even – Wembanyama's 2 feet taller than him.
Tall guys hate when muscular guys get underneath them in a low man wins kind of football situation. But it's funny, you said, is this a normal development for a star? I don't know. Like, what's a normal development for a 7'7" guy who can cross you over and hit a 3? Like, what's the book on this? How do you develop that guy? Like a super fast Yao Ming? I have no idea. There's no normal book on Victor Wembanyama. But
That's true.
Tall guys, you get a muscular guy into them, they hate it. So that has got to be the book, and that makes sense. I'm surprised the Lakers figured this out before everyone else did, but I think he's got to adjust.
The Suns kind of did
banging you.
The Suns kind of did it first, then JJ Redick kind of took it to the next level.
Okay.
So you got the Houston Rockets up next on Friday. So we'll see what Ime Udoka has in store for Wemby.
I mean, that's why
so
Wemby wants to go outside so much. You know, like Wemby's much more comfortable. Like me, as a tall, skinny person, I love hanging out by the 3-point line because it sucks to get hit.
I can just imagine. I just looked over at Perloff for a second, who sits to my left. Like you at your height, but just like with the wingspan of Wemby, how insane that would look. What's his wingspan? It's like almost 8 feet long, no? You said like guys like
Perloff
me.
is also like a foot shorter than
a foot and a half.
I know.
Good heavens.
I'm not sure. Yeah, that visual is in your head. That's a weird
kinda.
visual.
Knuckle dragon.
I'd have to wear the Kyle Kuzma sweater to make that work.
It would fit you though.
It would. It would. Yeah. Perloff, Wemby, similar games. Actually, I do play a little like Wemby.
I've heard that.
Except for the dunks.
Yeah.
That's where it stops.
And how about the blocks?
Yeah, I'm a great shot blocker because I play with. Yeah, I play with old, slow guys like me. Yeah, shot blocking's always been the one thing I can do because everyone's like, "Oh, I could take it right at this guy."
What's your vertical?
But I'm tall.
What's your vertical?
Nothing.
-3 inches.
Yeah, vertical. Yeah, what's the opposite of vertical? It's horizontal.
What's your horizontal?
What's my horizontal? Is a better
Perloff
question.
sees a world-renowned orthopedist like twice a week.
Yeah, what's your broad jump? That's the opposite.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is, I've never had a vertical or any speed, so my game is honed perfectly for this body.
Hey, you never showed us the photo of you and the Dartmouth guys. Did we see that last week?
No.
I don't think you found it.
I found it on the internet, yeah.
All right, send it around. Pete, what else we got?
So I mentioned that Alexander Ovechkin became the first NHL player to reach 900 goals last night, and we expertly transitioned that back to football talk with Joe Flacco, as we're all trained to do. But there is an aspect of that goal that I do want to address. So as we know, sports memorabilia is all the rage. So you would think that the puck that Ovechkin scored his 900th goal might be worth a little something. Well, Blues goaltender Jordan Binnington may have diminished its value a little bit. Binnington gave up the goal last night. He then flicked the puck up into his glove with the stick. He took his hand out of his blocker and grabbed the puck. Binnington then put the puck into the back of his pants.
Oh.
It was only after
was he kidding?
I don't know. He did not speak with the media after the game, so nobody really knows what his intent was here.
I know what his intent was.
I think we can read between the lines there, Pete. I think he was wiping his butt with that puck.
Well, he left it in there. It was only after an official, a linesman, went up to Binnington that he then dug around in his pants. It took about 10 seconds, and he finally located the puck, I guess, and handed it to that poor official.
There's a lot of crevices there.
Was he just trying to make money off this puck? Is that what was happening? Was he going to sell this?
I think he was sending a message like, I'm going to defile this puck that is going to be so, like, oh, you got a milestone on me. I'm going to put my butt cheeks on it.
No, forget that. I'm going to make $2,500 on eBay real quick.
Yeah, NHL players don't make a lot of money. That is one of the most bizarre efforts I've ever seen. I saw the video of him. He's sneaking off like he looks like a kid who just stole a cookie. He's like trying to sneak into the corner away from the goal. I think he was trying to sell this damn thing on eBay.
Would you rather make money this way or with illegal, poker games with Chauncey Billups?
And that's Jordan Binnington's only two ways to make money. The guy's a world-class goalie.
In hockey, man, we're not talking about an NFL left tackle here, man.
Let's Google Jordan Binnington.
$6 million a year.
Yeah, guys, he's not in the poorhouse. And also, there's 35 cameras at every NHL game. He thought he was going to get away with it.
Well, that's how he got busted. He might have gotten away with it, many years ago, but
$6 million.
Yeah, not now. But I was thinking of Doug Mientkiewicz. Remember?
Yeah.
Stuck the 2004 curse-ending baseball in his back pocket, and then apparently had it in his glove, and he gave it to his wife in her purse, and after many years, he donated the ball to the Baseball Hall of Fame, but he held on to that thing for a while.
I had forgotten about that. I remember, and did Anthony Rizzo put the ball in his back pocket also with the Cubs? I think he got the final out and put it in his back pocket. But you also think it's maybe for to just hold on to it because you're about to be in like a dog pile for the next 15 minutes and you don't want to lose the ball.
This is crazy. I'm reading this story. The coaches and the players would not talk after the game because everybody was asking, trying to find out what Binnington was doing.
He was trying to steal it.
He's got to be insane if he thought he could steal it.
He makes $6 million. He makes the third string shooting guard money. This
well, we want to give him the benefit of the doubt.
He's not in with the mob, I don't think.
But it'd be easier to fence a stolen jewels from Paris than this 900 goal. Like, hey, out of nowhere, Bill from Canada has a 900th puck. How would you prove that?
Maybe he's in with the Russian mob. Maybe the Russians wanted the puck. It's
think
Alexander Ovechkin, damn it.
I thought Binnington's American. No,
Canadian.
Oh, he was the goalie for the World, the Hockey World Cup, whatever we called it.
Listen, if the Kremlin's after you, then I would do anything to make sure I keep everything intact.
4 Nations Cup.
You must get this puck or your family will die.
Maybe he just wanted to hand it to Ovechkin himself.
Yeah, okay.
Right?
By
After he
the way,
put
we
it in
gotta,
his sweaty jockstrap.
It is bizarre
What a
that
nice
this is such a
guy.
mystery. How do we not know what the hell is going on with this?
we got to watch the Dodgers championship parade to see if Tommy Edman tried to sneak away from the pile with the ball in his hand. Just like Binnington looks so sneaky if you see him skating to the side. It is hysterical.
Nothing over here.
Yeah, I mean, your theory that he was trying to denigrate the puck.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense. I mean, so he let up a goal to Alex Ovechkin. I mean, so have 899 others. In fact, he's let up 5 goals to Ovechkin, I just read.
Yeah, I get it, but I thought it was something like a competitive thing.
Henrik
you know?
Lundqvist has given up goals to that guy.
We understand, but like maybe it was like a competitive thing. Like, oh, you're
Patrick
going to
Roy gave up goals to that guy.
I'm watching now the celebrations on our TV here, and like they're all celebrating like they just won the Stanley Cup. It's been a really big Alexander Ovechkin. He's killing these milestones the last couple of years. So maybe Binnington was like, all right, well, I'm not going to be celebrating this guy. I'm going to wipe this puck on my butt.
It's first month of the season. He doesn't care if he let up a goal to Alexander Ovechkin.
You're an odd competitor, Maggie Gray.
Well, I'm just saying. I'm just saying you guys don't want it bad enough. Am I an odd competitor, or are you guys just soft? Because if you're not willing to rub a hockey puck on your butt, then I don't think I want you guys as teammates.
Well, listen, money is tight. I would definitely try and steal that puck if I was that dude.
You have a good point, though. It seems easier to steal the jewels from the Louvre than it is to.
Yeah.
Speaking of jewels.
Yeah.
I mean, what if he just
Rubbing them all over the puck.
after he retires, he emerges, hey, look what I got for sale. And I forgot. It got stuck in my pads. My bad.
It's a little wet. My bad.
Oh.
You think you can do that? Just be like, oh, this? Oh, my gosh. I didn't realize I had this.
That 900, I mean, imagine if he tried to get away with the one where he broke Gretzky with. That would have been, that's a valuable
Can
puck.
you imagine all that sweat on that puck, too? You know how much goalies sweat?
Goalies the most sweatiest athletes.
No.
Oh.
But they don't.
It's a great question. When they take off that mask, it is always sopping
the
wet.
amount of pads and a helmet and
I don't have personal experience, but a hockey locker room, that's the smelliest of all the sports locker rooms.
No
right? Like
doubt.
The equipment just holds everything.
Easily smelliest locker room. Although football locker rooms also stink, but they're bigger because there's so many guys. Generally, the space is just a little bit bigger.
And obviously, football guys sweat a lot, too, heavily padded.
All right, who's the least sweatiest? Less stinkiest?
You know, I'm going to disagree with you. I don't think that it's hockey goalies. I think it's like a tennis player at the Australian Open when it's like 100 degrees on the court.
John McEnroe over here just had to make it about tennis.
You know what, though? Like, they always kind of look like Joker always looks calm and collected despite the heat. I think it's remember Tom Brady tell the story about the Buck center who's like the undercarriage was all wet? Yeah, that football players are pretty sweaty.
I just think every time I watch Mighty Ducks and Goldberg takes off his mask and pads, he just looks like he's been under a lot.
There you go.
And that's exactly what Jordan Binnington was going through last night.
I love every time I watch Mighty Ducks, like you pull it up every 3 months. Is that might be true?
Probably, right? I love the 90s. Goldberg's a sweaty kid.
Just that monthly watch of the Mighty Ducks, as one does. Thank you, Pete. We'll hear from you next hour. Coming up next, award-winning journalist Ian O'Connor is going to join us to talk football.
You're in a 5-minute break.
The lights went dim down at the station. We packed our dreams and hit the door. DA said, well, it's been something, but we won't be doing this no more. And somewhere out there, Pete's still sleeping.
He missed the memo like before. Pete ain't coming in no more. No boots by the board, no keys on the floor. He's free as a tumbleweed blowing through town. A legend of leaving when things go down. Yeah, Pete ain't coming in no more. We laughed through nights, we fought through mornings, chasing deadlines, spilling Joe. Infinity's gone, but we'll remember all the chaos from that show. But Belotti's grin says it all now. He's finally got no place to go. Pete ain't coming in no more. No fake traffic jam or stuck at the store. He's sleeping till noon with nothing to prove, 'cause the station's gone and Pete don't move. Yeah, Pete ain't coming in no more. So here's to the crew and all that we did, from DA to the board op kid. We gave it our hearts, our time, our souls. Pete gave, well, he gave us no shows. Pete ain't coming in no more. No alarms, no rush, no open door. Infinity's gone, the dreams run dry, but we'll raise one up before we say goodbye. Yeah, Pete ain't coming in no more.
Well, that's that, folks. Infinity's riding off into the sunset. And Pete, he finally beat us all to retirement by about 3 years.
.45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Dallas Cowboys' newest defensive tackle, Quinnen Williams, in the building yesterday, being introduced to the new fan base. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff, and Pro have been asking, what is a realistic or what would be a successful season for the Cowboys the rest of the way? Now, 3-5-1, but they make this splashy deal at the deadline. Jerry been talking about stopping the run basically since we were all in diapers. So he finally got one of the highest graded run defenders in the league. But again, as I mentioned, record is 3-5-1. So is the season too late to be salvaged?
Yes, it is. And regardless of what you think about Quinn Williams, the NFC, the way it's set up, there's going to be because they're killing the AFC. Week to week, they're just winning all those matchups. You're going to need 10 or 11 wins, and especially with that tie, that's going to be impossible. I just don't see how the Cowboys, with a very, very tough schedule, are going to get to the playoffs. So I keep pulling back and saying, why are you making a trade deadline deal if it's not for now? And I know what you're going to sell me on.
Well, I'm going to sell you on next year and the year after.
That's not why you make trade deadline deals.
Well, it is when the Jets are the ones who are saying, listen, it's now or never. Like, we're for sale right now. We want the draft picks. We're not waiting until the offseason. And they said Sauce Gardner goodbye for 2 first-round picks. And when you see the opportunity, I think you've got to pounce. And I don't think it was a panic move necessarily for Dallas. I think it's one where they've been thinking about Quinn and Williams actually for some time. It turns out there was a report that Jerry Jones wanted to trade Micah Parsons for Quinn and Williams plus in the offseason, and the Jets said no, and I actually understand why. What was Micah Parsons going to do on this team? Like, right? You're so far away if you're the Jets. The smarter move was to stockpile picks and start to rebuild this thing again. But to me, can I tell you what a successful season would be for the Cowboys for me? Now, you can't go Super Bowl. That's not happening. And not even NFC Championship game or even divisional round. But remember when the Cowboys tied the Packers?
Earlier this year.
Yeah. 40-40, I think, was the final score. Something crazy like that. Yeah. Was it 40-40? 38?
40-40.
40-40. Okay.
Like the Jay-Z thing.
Yeah. Right. Just like
40-40 Club.
Perloff's old stomping grounds. The Cowboys were like kind of treating it like a huge win. In a way, it kind of felt like their Super Bowl, and that was kind of pathetic.
Right, because Micah.
Right. But in some ways, I kind of feel like even if the Dallas Cowboys either just barely make the playoffs or just barely out of it, if they're playing meaningful games now in week 15, 16, and 17, I almost think that's enough of a W.
Yeah.
Like, it's enough to get the hopes and dreams back up with the Cowboy fan. I don't know if the rug's going to get pulled out from them again, but 15, 16, 17, you're in that graphic on TV in the hunt.
Yep.
I think that's probably enough.
And that's why the Dallas Cowboys are careening towards another 30 years of not winning a Super Bowl.
Well, be that as it may, I'm just talking about what's going on right now. You're welcome to weigh in on the Cowboys at 888-710-4ISN. Meanwhile, let's get to our next guest. Ian O'Connor is an award-winning author and journalist who writes for The Athletic and has covered a lot of topics that we've been talking about this morning. Hey, Ian, how you doing?
How are you, Maggie? Andrew? Good to see you.
Thanks so much for doing this. So let's get your thoughts on the New York angle of this, because the Jets now, as I say, love to stack W's on days when they don't actually play games. And they're going to be owning April once again. But I'm curious, was yesterday the trade deadline when they amassed 5 first-round picks over the next 2 years? Was this a good day for New York coach Aaron Glenn or a bad day for New York coach Aaron Glenn?
It's a good day, Maggie, because he guaranteed himself employment for next season. And I don't think he was ever getting fired unless the Jets went 1-16 or 0-17. So I don't think that'll happen anyway. But this basically secures him for next season and maybe beyond that. And I think as far as whether or not it's a good day for the New York Jets, ask me in 3 years. And the Jets have made deals like this before where they've reset and tried to rebuild, and it never works. I mean, when they traded Jamal Adams, everybody lauded that deal, and they ended up out of that deal with Garrett Wilson and AVT, and those guys never won any football games. So I think that, yeah, it's a good day. It's probably really the only move the Jets could make to make New York and its fans feel good about where they're going. But it's just this organization has had a history of good days in the offseason, good days in the draft season, in the preseason, and not in the postseason ever. And so it's just hard to say whether or not this is going to end up being good for anybody in that organization, just given the history.
Considering how much draft capital they got, which is an enormous amount for Sauce Gardner and Quinn Williams, why is the defense so bad if they have these 2 great players? And what does that say about the players? Because I have some Jets fans in my life who are a little bit down on, especially Sauce at this point of the season.
That's a very good question, Andrew. And I think that there are a lot of people inside and outside that building who don't really have a good answer for that. And I remember last year, I felt like, particularly with Sauce, and obviously this is a all-pro level talent, and he proved that his first couple of years. But last year was the year for the Jets, for those defensive players to really step up and play at a high level. That was the one sort of healthy year they had with Aaron Rodgers. And Sauce Williams in particular did not have a good year. He had an interception in the end zone against Minnesota that he dropped, which was really a high school play. And after that game, remember, Robert Saleh gets fired and the whole thing, the bottom fell out of the entire season, and the Aaron Rodgers experience was doomed from that point going forward. And yeah, Quinnen Williams and Sauce, last year was the year they needed to be first-team all-pro level players, and neither one pulled that off. And I think that ultimately led to this day, this week, and them not being on this team. So I do believe Darren Muji looked at the roster and he said, yeah, these guys, they're big name players, high draft picks around the league. People do value them, but they're they are overrated. And I just feel like last year was the year that those guys needed to play at a very high level. And not just them. I'm not putting it all on them. And Rodgers is certainly part of the blame as well. But that defense really did not come through in a big way. And I think ultimately that compelled the Jets to do what they did this week.
Ian O'Connor is joining us. He's a New York Times bestselling author, award-winning journalist, and we're talking about the trade deadline. And, Ian, not just the Jets now. Let's expand this out to all the sports you've covered throughout your career. I don't know if I've ever heard a quote quite like this. So here's Aaron Glenn. We'll play it for the audience. This is the Jets head coach yesterday asking about, is this a team that the Jets can be proud of? Hear this.
Listen, I want this to be a team that the fans are proud of. But again, I never said that we're going to be proud of them right now. At some point, I want this to be a team that the fans are proud of, and I still stick with that.
I don't know, Ian, you've been covering sports in New York and elsewhere for a long, long time. I want a team that the fans can be proud of. I just never said when. I mean, that's got to be up there.
That's up there. I've heard some incredible statements in New York press conferences, really in 40 years of doing it in the New York area. And I've never heard that one. I'm not even sure Rich Kotite ever said that with the Jets in the mid-'90s. So, yeah, Aaron Glenn does need to improve his podium game, among other things. And, that's a new one. But listen, the Jets, all that matters now is that they find a franchise quarterback. Once they do that, if they ever do that, a lot of these problems and the dysfunction in the organization will disappear. They need their own Jackson Dart. And whether they find that player in this draft or in the 27 draft, they have to find that player. Once they do that, they're going to be set for 15 years, or at least be relevant, to be competent. The problems they've had in the organization now, they had Sam Darnold, and they let him go. They didn't develop him. They didn't surround him with enough talent or the right talent. And that's a player that they really could have had that would have settled everything down in that franchise for a long time. So that didn't work. They have to find that player, their Jackson Dart. And once they do that, as bad as things are with the Giants right now, they're bad. Everyone knows they have hope for the next 15 years.
Ian, can the fan base wait if they have to wait a year to draft that guy? You mentioned it could be 27. That could mean another year of Justin Fields, which I think feel like a tank. Is it realistic to wait to 27 to draft a quarterback?
I think they'll draft a quarterback probably in the first round this year. If not, then pretty high, just to get a young player at that position and then see if that player works out. And then you have a second shot at it in 27. That's what I think they'll do. And I think that's the one position where if you make a decision pretty early and go right back in the next draft, you have to keep trying to hit on that position until you get it right. And so I do think they'll draft a quarterback in the first round. If not, then maybe in one of the earlier rounds anyway, and then take another shot in 27 if they have to. But as far as not taking a quarterback at all in this coming draft, I don't see that as a possibility. I really don't think they want to have the Justin Fields experience, a bridge quarterback experience for another season. So Jets fans have been waiting for so long, and now working on 15 straight years of missing the playoffs. It's hard to miss the playoffs now with so many wild cards. To do that 15 years in a row is really unforgivable. So yeah, I think at some point the odds say they'll find that player. And once they do, then the Jets can become a real NFL franchise.
Ian O'Connor is joining us. Obviously, does more than just cover New York sports. Is a New York Times bestseller. Has written some phenomenal books. One that we particularly love is Out of the Darkness: The Mystery of Aaron Rodgers, which was phenomenal. But Ian, I'm curious: are you surprised that we really haven't heard much out of Rodgers? He's not doing his weekly appearances on Pat McAfee. It seems like pretty much model teammate in Pittsburgh.
I think Mike Tomlin was never going to allow Rodgers to hijack the season. And I think it was a perfect marriage, really, because Tomlin, he doesn't know how to have a losing season. And what Rodgers needed at the end of his career after the disastrous experience in New York was some stability. And Tomlin represented that. Tomlin was a firewall against having a 5-12 season, which I really think, on top of what happened with the Jets, if Rodgers experienced that and then retired, that would have hurt his legacy. And I think it was a really smart decision to sign with an organization like the Steelers, and where worst case scenario, he'll go 9-8, lose in the first round of the playoffs or miss the playoffs, but be in the mix right up until the end of the regular season. So, no, I think that was the trade-off. Okay, we're going to give you the opposite experience that you had with the Jets, but you have to be a Steeler. You have to go back to being a football player. And I think that was a spoken and unspoken agreement that Rodgers had with Mike Tomlin.
Aaron Rodgers looks happy. Is that just me, or is it possible? Because reading your book, one thing that I noticed about Rodgers had trouble finding elusive happiness. Do you think he's a different person than, say, 10 years ago?
Oh, yeah, I think he is. And I think man, that was a very difficult experience in New York. He thought it was going to be this sort of dream come true at the end of his career to try to win a second Super Bowl and get that second ring and do it for a franchise that hasn't been to a Super Bowl since January of 1969. And it was a disaster. And I think to go to an organization that, after getting fired by the New York Jets, which was embarrassing, humiliating, all those things, to get to a stable environment, to go back to being a football player, he got married. And so, yeah, I think he's at peace right now. Now, it's going to be tough for them to win that division. I think the Ravens are going to be a major factor now going forward with Lamar Jackson being healthy. And so I don't think making the playoffs is a given right now. So we'll see how the rest of the season goes. But right now, I think he's in a really good place.
Ian O'Connor joining us. Final one from me, and it's about another subject of one of your New York Times bestselling books. It's Belichick, The Making of the Greatest Football Coach of All Time. Now, you did a deep dive into Belichick, his background, his rise, all of that. Now, watching what's gone on at North Carolina, what is the most stunning part about Bill Belichick now from what you're seeing at UNC?
I'm actually not stunned, Maggie, by anything. I thought it would be a struggle early. I was at the first game, which was not good against TCU, but I wrote afterward for The Athletic that I felt, hey, let's not go crazy here. Belichick's going to figure this out. It's going to take a little time. And there's been a lot of dysfunction in that program, I think, because they didn't know how to coach college football. Belichick, Mike Lombardi didn't know how to build a college football team. But you remember his first year in New England, 5-11. He starts his second year 0-2, and then they take off with Tom Brady. So I thought it would take some time. And look, he's inches away from having a 3-game winning streak right now, going into a game they should win Saturday against Stanford. They'd be 3-1 in the ACC, literally inches against Cal and Virginia from winning both those games. So they're playing better now. They didn't quit on him. I think next year, assuming he's back, and I think he will be, they'll be pretty good. So I think it's getting better there. I do think there was a lot of dysfunction. The reporting, particularly from Pablo Torre, was really good. But also, they're getting better. Both things can be true, and I think both things are true right now.
Wow. As far as the sort of embarrassment level for him and Jordan Hudson, do you think listen, when we do a radio show, a lot of people called in and said this is ridiculous. Do you think that that's dying down and he's sort of kind of finding a middle ground here where he can function without everybody making the first sentence about Jordan Hudson?
I think that's a great way of putting it, settling down and just figuring out how to coach college football, how to recruit. They made a lot of mistakes bringing in 70 new players. That was never going to lead to immediate success. So I'm really not surprised that he really struggled. Again, he struggled in Cleveland early on, got to 11-5, beat Parcells in the playoffs, and Art Modell announces that they're leaving the city. So that really destroyed that program. And then again, he lost 13 of his first 18 games in New England and then figured it out. Of course, Tom Brady helped. But I think that he's going to be, if he sticks it out, and I think he will for a while anyway, unless he becomes the next head coach of the New York Giants next year, which I don't think will happen. But I think he'll be a good to very good college football coach next year and beyond. It was always going to be rocky early, particularly with so many dozens of new players on that roster. So, yeah, settling down, I think is a good way of putting it.
What did you think of Pablo Torre's reporting on Mike Lombardi's marginal role or overstating his role through the years? Because I'm sure you've covered Lombardi teams before.
Not much. I didn't get into Lombardi too much in my book. And so I've not seen any refuting of that. And so I think at the end of the day, Bill loves Mike Lombardi. He's always valued his opinion. But this is going to rise or fall on Belichick, not Lombardi. It's about Belichick. That's the reason players will go to North Carolina or, frankly, not go to North Carolina. It's Bill Belichick. It's not Mike Lombardi. And his coaching should give them an advantage on most weeks. So I think that, it rises and falls solely on Belichick. And granted, he's not 50 years old anymore. But I still think he's got some left in the tank, and I expect that North Carolina, again, I think they'll win Saturday. That could have been a 4-game winning streak right there, and obviously it's not. But I think things slowly but surely are getting better in Chapel Hill, and I suspect that will continue.
We all wanted that documentary to come out on Hulu, but maybe it's probably best for Belichick that we don't get that much behind the scenes. He also was named as a semifinalist along with 8 other head coaches for the class of 2026 in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Ian, sorry, just really quickly, you mentioned it, so it made me think of something. You didn't think Belichick will be the next head coach of the New York Giants. Obviously, they have a very strong affinity, so much history between Belichick, the Mara family. John Mara's sick right now, unfortunately. He's dealing with cancer, as they announced. How safe are Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen with the Giants?
Safe at all. I think that Shane might be a little safer than Daboll, but even though Jackson Dart, you would think, gives them some security, I think other people can coach Jackson Dart and they'll be fine. I would say if one survives, it will be the GM and not the head coach. But Daboll would have to win some games here down the stretch, maybe win 4 or 5 games to really have a shot at coming back. I think that the losing there has spoken for itself over the last 3 years. And I suspect that the Giants will be in the market for a new head coach unless things dramatically change. And I don't see that happening.
Ian O'Connor writes for The Athletic, must read all the time, and of course, a New York Times bestselling author. Ian, thanks so much for your perspective. We always appreciate it.
My pleasure, guys. Thank you.
Okay, we got to take a quick break. Want to respond and react, rather, to a couple things that Ian had to say. They're very, very interesting. And Manny just put his head in his hands, as Ian said. They're probably looking for a new head coach next year. But you might get a great head coach, Manny.
Rinse, repeat, recycle, whatever the hell the saying is.
4 or 5 games is a lot of games.
He's got no talent. He's got a little talent. 888-710-4ISN. Got a lot of guys hurt. 888-710-4476.
My will to live.
We take a break. Pete McCarthy is going to join us next with the latest headlines as well. M&P.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
And he throws, intercepted. Is he inbounds? Dion down the right side. Yes, he's to the 50. They can't stop him. He can high step this one half the field. He waits to the 10 though and walks into the end zone. Does another dance. Touchdown 49ers.
I think that one probably will be shown forever with him, high stepping, hand behind his back for about 96 yards, pointing at the Atlanta bench.
This is my house. I built this, and this is my house. I don't care if I'm with the Falcons or not. This is my house, and this will always be my house. Now let's continue.
It's Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Oh, my God. That was Eric Davis talking about his former San Francisco 49er teammate Deion Sanders scoring a touchdown against Atlanta and high-stepping for 96 yards. Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff. We're doing King of the Mountain, trying to crown the greatest NFL team of all time. And today it's the 85 Bears against Deion and the 94 Niners. Tough task. I mean, Deion was a competitor, so he would get in there and mix it up with the Bears. But I feel like it's going to be tough for those 94 Niners to knock off the Bears?
Well, right now they are leading the poll.
Really?
Pearl. Yeah, Pearl. At Maggie and Pearl on X right now, the 94 49ers have a slight lead. One thing about that Niner team, the 85 Bears are iconic. I think the 49ers, there's so many amazing 49er teams. Maybe some, it's like, oh, was that the Steve Young one? Was that the Joe Montana one? Was that Jerry Rice goes off in that one? Was that the one that didn't have Jerry Rice yet? Maybe as you get further and further away, they all start to mold together a little bit.
I feel like for football fans, the 94 separates itself because it was so long before the last Super Bowl.
That's true.
And it was the crazy, if anybody who was alive to watch that Super Bowl, it was probably the most, 43-8 Seahawks over Broncos might be the most lopsided one I've ever seen. This was a offensive lopsided. It looked like, remember, what was it, Bishop Sycamore, the fake high school playing IMG Academy? It was the men and the boys. So maybe the way, but then again, the Bears blew out the Patriots in their Super Bowl. Back to Ian O'Connor was on last segment. One thing that jumped out to me.
Oh, wait, you can go vote with Maggie and Pearl. 85 Bears, 94 49ers.
One thing that jumped out to me, Ian O'Connor was just on. We're talking about several topics, but Bill Belichick, he got me back in. The Godfather 3 style, I think I'm back in now because I watched, for some random reason, I was stuck on the couch watching UNC Virginia. And I'll tell you right now, Virginia is a good team, might even make the college football playoff. And UNC gave them all they could handle. Maybe Belichick is turning this team around. Maybe this is next year, as Ian O'Connor said, maybe they're going to be good. I didn't even consider that a month ago, but now I think I'm back in a little bit.
Okay. It can't get worse, right? They've been close. These games it wasn't close against TCU. Some of the early games were not close, but now it's been a little closer. So maybe you see a little bit of improvement. But to me, Belichick's the reasons why this has been bad to me are the unforced errors from Belichick.
If he hadn't had time to coach him up.
I'm not talking about that.
Oh, you're not talking about the players. You're talking about the coaching errors?
I'm talking about the off-the-field stuff. I'm talking about Belichick, who was so notorious for do your job, singular focus, not letting any outside issues, cloud the team, hard nose, hard ass, all that stuff. He's anything but. He's got, whether he realizes it or not, it's a joke with Jordan Hudson. I think sometimes it's gotten a little too maybe far, but gosh, we're finding out they met. She was 19. It feels like every single time there's a headline here, it's like, ugh, And
yeah, but it's been a little while since we've had those headlines. That's about 6 weeks ago.
I don't think it's been that long. If you're really into this story, if you're following every back and forth, I think it's been like 3 weeks. So I don't know.
Has it?
Yeah.
Well, I heard the last story was Pablo Torre's podcast. For some reason, went after North Carolina GM Mike Lombardi, Belichick's old friend. But none of that's going to matter. Honestly, you know how sports works. They have Stanford this week at home.
Yeah.
If they win, it'll be their second straight ACC win. Then they'll probably not win out, but they have a chance to win their remaining games. If he starts winning some games, that's the best way to put Jordan Hudson behind him.
I think that it's a question whether Belichick will even coach next year.
I think listen to Ian, I think he's back. And why not?
Well, is North Carolina just so dug in at this point? They've given him a lot of money. But on the flip side, there were reports that I think they seem to be tracking that not everyone wanted to hire him within North Carolina. And there's even people who are suing now the school because they're saying that, there was some malpractice with how Belichick was hired. So it's been a soap opera, which is the opposite of how Belichick operated when he was an NFL coach.
Yeah. But you just give me blindly their record. They got blown out by TCU 48-14, got blown out by Clemson. That's embarrassing, 38-10. But then they lost a really as close as possible game at Cal. Then they tried for a 2-point conversion in overtime against Virginia and failed. That was bold. Virginia, who's now 12 in the country, and they just clobbered Syracuse with a backup quarterback. I think that's improvement, Maggie. You cannot lie. X's and O's wise, something has changed a little bit. Now, will it last? They end the season with Duke and NC State. I think with all the people in North Carolina, those are probably big games, but it does seem like they're trending up. So I think that North Carolina fans are going to be able to squint and see something at the end of the season. As he brought in all those transfers that Ian mentioned, also, I don't love this quarterback decision. What he ended up, he was way too late on quarterback. If they can get in early, who knows? I'm saying, who knows?
Belichick's just lucky it's basketball season now.
I don't know.
Carolina Tar Heels is going to take a little of the attention away. Let's get to Pete McCarthy, who's got the latest headlines for us. Good morning, Pete.
Yeah, good morning. Some breaking news this morning. The home of Miami Heat coach Eric Spoelstra was heavily damaged by a massive fire this morning.
Oh, boy.
Seen some videos online. It's essentially leveled. There are no immediate reports of any injuries, according to the Associated Press. Spoelstra was not home when the fire started. The blaze was called in at 4:36 a.m. The Heat had played in Denver last night, so their charter flight landed a little after 5 a.m. So Spoelstra got back in time. There's some video on the internet where they say it's Spoelstra. You kind of see it from the back. It looks like him, and he looks kind of distraught watching his house, his home on fire.
But no one was in there,
certainly,
Pete? No one's hurt?
As far as we know, nobody was in there. No reports of injuries for now. But
thank God.
Certainly sending our best to Eric Spoelstra there. Also tonight, Thursday Night Football, the 7-2 Broncos hosting the 2-6 Raiders. The Broncos are hot; they've won 6 in a row. But I think you're going to hear a lot about the coaches in this game. It's a fun matchup. You have 74-year-old Pete Carroll facing 61-year-old Sean Payton.
They're a downhill running team and don't mind working the perimeter. All of that. I think it's. And you think of all the years with Drew Brees, you think of him as a passing guy, but they weren't when you played against them. They were always had a real good conscience about running the football.
A lot of respect between these two. Peyton called Carroll an industry friend. I'm actually surprised they've only gone head-to-head 7 times previously. Peyton is 4-3 against Carroll, but Carroll has won both of their postseason matchups, which includes that Marshawn Lynch beastquake 67-yard touchdown run, which in this research I started watching that and it still brought a smile on my face. I don't care. I'm not a Seahawks fan. It's just an amazing run.
I like industry friend is great, by the way.
Yeah, frenemy.
Yeah, we see each other at conferences once in a while. Yeah.
Hey, Sean, how you been? How's the family? But that was the year that the Seahawks made the playoffs and they were like 7-9 or something,
Correct.
right?
Yeah, it was a big upset. But it's kind of wild. I didn't realize the coaches in the AFC West, I mean, that division is just loaded. So you have Carroll, Peyton, Andy Reid, and Jim Harbaugh. Mm-hmm. They've all won Super Bowls. Harbaugh and Carroll are the only football coaches to win titles in college and the NFL. That is, I mean, you're almost looking at 4 Hall of Famers in that division at the same time.
Well, Harbaugh, no, probably. Well, he's just
I guess not NFL.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see what he does with the Chargers, I suppose. He's still early 60s.
He does, according to him, have the greatest quarterback of all time.
It's true, but if he doesn't have anyone to protect that greatest quarterback of all time, it's going to be a tough end of the year.
I mean, all the positive energy in the world cannot fix the health status of the LA Chargers. I mean, it's year in and year out.
I'm actually surprised that Jim Harbaugh has been pretty toned down. You know, I know he's had some health stuff going on, but, you know, obviously Jim Harbaugh and Pete Carroll have some major beef, you know, from the 49ers Seahawks days. But I thought that Jim Harbaugh would be a little more of a walking quote, and he's not really giving us that.
I feel like that's
week.
more Chargers than him. I think he's been weird.
Weird,
well, he's always weird.
Like more weird than usual?
No, not more weird. I think he's been Jim Harbaugh. I just think the Chargers are kind of off the beaten path a little bit as a team in terms of how we focus on his press con. Like Michigan is one of the programs in college football. So
and he had a big scandal at the end.
Yeah,
which
a big
was funny.
scandal, and he also was a high-profile guy to be coaching Michigan. So I think everyone was just paying attention to him a lot more. I watched some of these clips. He's still saying weird stuff every week. It's just not making national news.
Oh, that's funny. I kind of agree with Maggie's first instinct that he's calmed down a little bit, but maybe it's just I'm not paying attention. It could easily be. I mean, there was a point in Michigan where he was really capturing headlines. You know, he's getting a little older. Who knows?
I want to drive my RV out.
By the way, Jim Harbaugh, we talk about Hall of Fame case. I mean, he's only 6 seasons in the NFL, but he is 9th all-time in winning percentage. He's at a 68% winning percentage. And he has plenty of guys behind him that have all made the Hall of Fame that don't have his winning percentage right now.
I don't even want to ask this because it depends on that list, how many years active, but I know who's number 1. Maybe not, depending on how many years you need.
It's not going to be Nick Sirianni.
He's definitely number 1 because he doesn't have enough years to qualify, but he's headed that way.
He's 5.
Oh, he's 5?
Yeah, Guy Chamberlain, who coached in 1922.
Oh, of course, Guy.
Is ahead
People
of him.
aren't
John
named
Madden's
Guy anymore.
John Madden, I think, is technically the modern day person.
Oh, John Madden's higher than Sirianni? What was he at?
He's at 75.9%. Sirianni's at 71%.
What about Matt LaFleur? Is he on that list?
Matt LaFleur's on this list as well. He's a little below Harbaugh at 13. 67%.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Harbaugh, you need a Super Bowl as a coach to even get in the conversation, and often that's not enough.
And Maggie's favorite coach, Sean McDermott's on this list at 16.
Yeah.
Yippee.
I mean, Nick Sirianni could easily have 2 Super Bowls by now, I just want to point out. Hall of Fame coach.
You see what happens, bro?
Hall of Fame coach. Nick Sirianni is going to the Hall of Fame, Manny. Wrap your head around that.
What I should do
Speaking
is
of
just
tone
lower your
down.
levels.
So you'd be wrapping
Sirianni
something else
this
around
year.
your neck. Yeah.
Yeah, by the way.
Sorry, Pete, go ahead.
Sirianni hasn't done much now. I feel like Big Dom is now the face of the
He's not
team
good
in
at
Philly.
his job, that's why. He's not good at what he
Bringing
does.
steak sandwiches to Scattaboo.
I'm trying to think, if you get injured, is that what you want? A cheesesteak? I don't know
Kinda.
if I'm
Comfort food.
That story was such a me thing out of Philadelphia. Like, look at me, I'm going to be sympathetic. Look at me. Bunch of
Yeah, and it's disingenuous, Manny, because Philadelphia never wants to be the good guy.
No, to
you know?
a New Yorker, get out of here.
No, but I do think that
Disingenuous garbage.
if I was
Bunch of
like in the
posers.
hospital, or if I, God forbid, or something happened, like hell yeah, cheesesteak. You can bring me a cheesesteak. That would make me feel better.
There's always
Camp Scattaboo doesn't like cheesesteaks.
Well, I'm sure he half down. Is
there anything he doesn't like?
Yeah, just eat the meat raw. I don't even think you cook it for Scattaboo. It's caveman.
And he would bark while he does it.
The thing about Big Dom is friends with everyone. Have you ever heard the stories? I'll always hear a story behind the scenes that he goes, yeah, then Big Dom showed up with like Bryan Cranston or someone random. The guy has a million friends in Hollywood and the NFL. I'm not joking. He's the connective tissue of the NFL.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
Dude's never met a camera he doesn't like. What
That's
else
true.
you got, Pete?
Well, the Broncos, I mean, just looking at the way the AFC West stacks up right now, the Broncos are first place in the West. They're a game ahead of the Chargers, who you guys mentioned are very banged up. Joe Alt obviously hurt this past week as well. The Chiefs are sitting third at 5-4. So pretty big opportunity here for the Broncos. They're going to be heavily favored tonight. But do we like the Broncos' chances of winning the AFC West over Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs and finally knocking them down a peg?
Yeah, I mean, of course we do, because the Chiefs' schedule is ridiculous. I think the Broncos, you made the whole plane out of the fourth quarter. Bo Nix would be the MVP of the league. But yeah, definitely. Like the Chiefs are going to have a real hard time getting a high enough record. I'm not even talking about like how good the teams are. It's just where they are in the standings.
So Chiefs and Broncos have not played yet. They're going to play next week and then week 17. For Denver, though, still have to play the Packers. Jacksonville, you got the Chargers one more time. You got Raiders tonight. You get Raiders again. You get a banged up Washington Commanders team. I think the Broncos might cruise to this division title, quite frankly. Nothing is easy for them. Like, nothing is easy for them. But, yeah, I think that they're definitely going to be in the driver's seat.
And, they play the Chiefs well. They should have beaten them last year when the Chiefs were really at the top of their game.
And look at the Chiefs. I mean, we talk about them as a Super Bowl contender, so maybe we don't notice it as much, what they've done in that division. They've won that division 9 years running.
Yeah.
Even the year before, they didn't win. They were 11-5.
Well, when you got the Raiders and the Chargers in there, I mean,
whatever,
there's a
Bills.
lot of banana peels that got stepped on.
Whatever, Bills fan. I mean, that's the ultimate. The Bills have won how many in a row for the
5.
same exact reason?
The Bills won 5 in a row.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Oh, you're a Jets fan? Yeah. Yeah.
Actually,
I was talking to somebody the other day.
Yeah.
I was talking to a buddy of mine. He's a Buccaneers fan. So he's in the NFC South. And it's just so unfair. The Jets, they went from Josh Allen in the division, Tom Brady in the division, Dan Marino in the division, Jim Kelly in the division. And then what do you have in the NFC South? Come on.
Yeah.
Bryce Young, anybody?
Pete, can I get your take on something quickly? Because Pete, obviously, he and I worked at MLB.com together for a really long time. Pete's done every baseball thing you can possibly do. And I consider you, Pete, like a baseball historian. And your knowledge of baseball is amazing. The Blue Jays.
That's baseball.
How they lost Game 6, Game 7 of the World Series, I think is the worst loss in the history of sports.
Oh, gosh.
It's 48 hours of pure pain. And listen, I know bad losses as a Bills fan. I have a PhD in terrible losses. But you lose a Super Bowl, you lose a 13 seconds game. I only have to experience it one time. I don't have to do Game 6 and Game 7. Now, I know Red Sox fans might say 86, losing against the Mets, whatever. I think this is as bad as it gets. And
I think a Mariners fan might disagree, and the Mariners went through the same thing like 3 weeks ago. They had the huge home run, the Eugenio Suarez home run to beat the Blue Jays in Game 5. They had to go to Toronto rather than bringing it home, but lost Games 6 and 7. Same thing. I mean, just 48 miserable hours. Baseball sucks, man. Baseball will destroy
game,
you.
Though? Like, oh yeah, no, baseball will crush your will to live.
I don't mean the sport. It's just, as a fan, it's just absolutely brutal how it all stretches out and hits you at the end. But I can't imagine the Blue Jays fans. I mean, ugh.
My Phillies lost 2 games at home to the Diamondbacks in 2023. I mean, the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, but Pearl, that no one even remembers that except for you guys. This is epic. This was an 18-inning game. You're going up against a dynasty in the Dodgers. You've got the biggest stars of the game against you, and you've got them. You came back from the 18-inning loss. You took the lead in the series. You're going home for Game 6 and 7. Again, I'm not trying to make Toronto fans feel worse about this. I'm just saying let's put this in a little context perspective. I think this is as bad as it could ever be.
Well, I would counter. What about Cleveland, Chicago in Game 7 of 2016? That one,
horrible
because
for Cleveland. I
Cleveland,
get it.
an even longer drought than Toronto.
But some ways, the Cubs in some ways were also the lovable losers who were up against a curse. This is the Dodgers who were spent their way to a title.
And it's not, to me, you're 2 outs away from winning the World Series, and you let Miguel Rojas hit the game-tying home run. Miguel Rojas is the one who did that to you against your, stud closer who's been terrific. Like, that's what would eat at me. I forget about Game 6 and the ball sticking in the wall, right? And Addison Barger getting doubled off, fine. I mean, but Miguel Rojas, you were 2 outs away from winning the World Series.
See, Pete, I knew you would know what I'm talking about.
He's there for vibes. Dude, the guy was there for vibes. He wasn't there because he was expected to get a big hit. He was there because he's an old guy. The team likes him. They wanted to change the energy for Game 6. He's a vibe guy. And he hit the game-tying home run with 2 outs to save the year for the Dodgers.
Man. Pete, thank you. Fantastic job all morning long. Thanks for filling in on Last Minute, too, for Bogusch. We appreciate you so much.
Happy to do it.
Okay, we will take a quick break. It looks like we may have some breaking news, so we'll get to that in just a moment. It's M&P.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Daily.
Do you believe that?
Dion.
You believe that?
Welcome back. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. We have not checked in on Dion nearly enough this season because at 3-6, it has just not been an awesome season for Dion. And little did we know, there were some coaching changes, tweaks behind the scenes. Apparently, Deion Sanders taking away play calling responsibilities from Pat Shurmur. Here's Dion.
I might already changed it and you don't know. I don't do stuff and blow the whistles in and make major announcements. Hey, I don't do that kind of stuff. I do it and I let you guys still take shots. You don't even know you may be shooting at the wrong target. So some things take place that you may not be privy to.
At what point would we figure? At what point would they be changes that we do notice, though?
That's up to you to notice them. They may have already happened.
I could have told you guys that Pat Shurmur probably wouldn't be the best idea.
Well, this is the second time he's taken away play calling responsibilities in 2 years from Pat Shurmur. So it's been kind of an up and down situation.
The story feels familiar. I mean, Dion always has such a strange coaching staff, too, with all the former pros. It's hard to keep track of exactly what's going on.
Yeah, that's fair. It was just funny when Deion Sanders says, like, whenever he says something like, I don't do anything for the bells and whistles, like, I'm sorry, what? You're Deion Sanders. You do everything for the bells and whistles. You're an extremely public person. So as far as Deion, listen, it'd be easy to point to health concerns and say, listen, it's been a really tough year going back to the offseason. But Deion is rejecting any suggestion that his health challenges, recovering from the colon cancer, is an excuse.
Your health challenges has been as real as they can.
Yeah, but that ain't got nothing to do with the win and loss column.
You don't think so?
No. I ain't playing. I wish the world I could. Especially corner right now. We're short. I wish I could go out there and play some corner right now. But no, but I got to do a better job in this whole thing. That's on me.
Yeah, and that's kind of where we want to land on right there. And Deion, obviously, always charming. But they're going to go to Juju Lewis, Pearl. They made that announcement when Colorado plays at West Virginia this Saturday. So he's obviously the freshman phenom. He'll be coming around the mountain.
Juju is coming around the mountain when he comes.
Oh, my favorite. Coming around the mountain when he comes. Hee-haw. But, Pearl, this is our biggest question. We can't tell if Deion Sanders is actually a good football coach. And that's what he kind of acknowledged there. He goes, I don't want to use my health as an excuse. The win-loss column says we're 3-6. But in a season where they don't have Shedeur Sanders anymore and they don't have Travis Hunter anymore, it's, he can recruit clearly with the best of them. But coaching.
Wait, does anyone think he's a good coach? I didn't know that was a thing people thought. Like X's and O's? You thought Deion was doing that?
Well, I mean, listen, I've watched a couple of these Colorado games. I've had some questions about timeout usage and some play calls. So, yeah, we could get on him about that a little bit. But he's a Power 4 coach in a team that was one game away from making the Big 12 championship.
But Deion's admitted he's a delegator as a coach. He's bringing something completely different as a coach. It doesn't really, you don't talk about him as a good, bad coach compared to I don't know, Billy Napier or something. Like, he's not calling plays like that. Is that
kind of giving him, is that a pass because he's such a
of course.
big player?
When you bring in Deion Sanders, you're not bringing him in because okay, we are going to bring in Ben Johnson and have a bunch of neat play calls. He's the opposite. He's basically a spokesman. He's a face. He's like, I'm going to create excitement around. He said that when he got to Colorado. I'm going to create a vibe here, and he did. Unfortunately, it's fallen back. It's going to be hard. Juju Lewis was the number 1 recruit in the country, so maybe he's the real deal. But he just turned 18 a few weeks ago. He's a young quarterback. It's going to be hard. I don't think Deion has a future. I do not think he's a good coach, by the way, to answer that question.
And coaching past this year, I mean, he'd have every reason to just say, okay, like my health concerns, he doesn't need the money,
Yeah, exactly.
Although I don't think the NFL is on the table at all either. It's funny because, and thank you for that, Manny, but we're talking about Maggie Perloff, King of the Mountain, which is our search for the greatest NFL team of all time. And you can go vote right now if you're into this kind of thing. 94 San Francisco 49ers taking on the Chicago Bears, 1985 Chicago Bears, 2 iconic teams. And it's funny because Deion Sanders came to the 49ers right before that season, and he was one of the reasons they turned things around and finally got over the hump past the Dallas Cowboys.
I mean, he's Deion, iconic. There's no doubt about it. Deion the legend will never die.
No, and it shouldn't. I mean, he's an inner circle Hall of Famer, right? But it's just like we wondered whether or not the coaching would, not that he would be not as into it. It's not about that. I think he's doing a job. But the idea that, he's going to have success without Travis Hunter and without his son Shador.
Yeah, a tough task at Colorado. Remember, Colorado was bad before he got there.
Of course, 1-win team. Before we get out of here, we do want to bring you some breaking news. Now, this is extremely sad. The Dallas Cowboys are announcing that Marshawn Nealon, the second-year defensive end, has passed away. We are not getting any reason why. We are not getting any more details, except for a somber statement from the Cowboys saying that he was a beloved teammate and member of our organization.
Yeah, very promising young player. He's from Grand Rapids, Michigan, Maggie, and I think we might be on there. This is a gut punch because, I'd never heard anything but good things about him. He sure seemed like he had a bright NFL career ahead of him.
And he was the one who scored the touchdown on the block punt
by
on
Sam
Monday
Williams.
night.
Yeah.
Yep, he just had that big play, and he had actually started the previous 3 games before that, and it seemed like things were kind of moving on the up and up for Marshawn Nealon.
Yeah, we're going to be watching and listening all day to find out more details because this is just a shock.
Yeah. Man, hearts go out to his family. And now the Dallas Cowboys, where things were starting to look up, Pearl, after the trade for Quinnen Williams, have to deal with this. And definitely puts football in perspective because none of this is really important. Okay, let's say thank you, E.J. Stewart, Manny Rodriguez, to Pete McCarthy, to Andrew Kaplan. Thank you to Ian O'Connor, who joined us. Zach Gelb jumped on the show today. Guidos and Coffee Drinkers. See ya.